Simpleton math.
And we're on Kirk. Oh. Hey, bud, you're back.
The crew has been assembled again, only for a brief period of time because Bracken's a deadbeat. He's leaving us now.
And he's out. Kirk, we missed you, man. I didn't know if we were gonna miss you, but I can't say we because we didn't talk about this. I personally missed you. I was looking for your insight. Thought I wasn't gonna care about it, but I did care about it. So that's something that I learned while you were gone.
What a compliment.
No, that feels like an appropriate backhanded compliment. I like that.
Front hand.
There were a lot of those last week from you to Bracken. You missed those. But...
I feel like you're obligated to say that, and I would probably tell you that as well, even if I didn't mean it. So thank you.
I do mean it. I wouldn't tell you. I promise I wouldn't tell you if I didn't miss you.
Well, Bracken and I just stroked each other on our training Tuesday with how much we missed each other, so we can move on from that. But it's good to be back, fellas.
BK, is the Friday episode going to be the most downloaded episode of all time, you think?
Yeah, I think of any podcast.
Like any Rogan, any Bill Simmons, any This American Life.
Funny enough, I looked at the numbers just before this. I was curious as I could use it as a talking point. And I was like, I hope they're really bad for some reason. And then I looked and they were fantastic. Like the numbers are actually really good already. Yeah. The downloads are up for this window of time since it's dropped. Yeah.
And it was out on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Right. That's got to affect something.
Yeah. I gave up on it Friday. Some nonsense.
So Kirk, if you need someone at the last second to just fill in, like literally, if you're like, hey, we're going to record in 2 seconds. Are you ready? You can hit me up and we'll be like, oh, okay. I'll be in there.
Is that what you did, Bracken?
No, I gave him a window. I said, today or tomorrow, you want to do something. And he said, let's just do it right now.
I'm waiting.
I'm here.
Let's hit
I'm already in the green room. I'll call you. Here's our problem. When it gets that big, and Spotify invariably makes us a big offer to do our own show, do I take the money or do I stay loyal to Kirk? That's my big problem, because I feel a very, very loyal connection to Kirk, and I really like money. And I don't know how this is going to work. So I'm wrestling with that over on my end.
I'm glad you're thinking about it.
What's the best option, Jack?
Well, I think Bracken's kind of deciding, like, is he going to be Brady or Belichick, or is it going to be Brady and Belichick? Like, does he want some of the glory on his own, or does he keep the team together and that's where you have the most success?
No, this is money.
This is money? Okay.
Yeah. In fact, if they offered the money to me and the spot to any of you guys, you can have that. I don't care if anyone ever sees or hears me again. Just
isn't this the equivalent to like Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets or something though? Like, you don't want to do that.
I was gonna say more like a Deshaun Watson, BK and Deshaun.
I don't like the same association of that.
Cut of the same cloth.
You don't want to be in that.
Aaron Rodgers is obviously making like national news right now, but as the Wisconsinites in here, Kirk and I are hearing about this, for years coming up to this. And then he disappears on this retreat, right? These 4 days in a yurt, secluded, just pure darkness. And you have to assume that sales and like popularity in that industry just skyrocketed when you get someone like Aaron Rodgers' platform to go there, right? Like, this is a real niche market. And then Aaron Rodgers does it. I bet they had people coming out of the woodwork because you go there and you clear your mind, you make great decisions. And then he came out and chose the Jets. And I have to feel like that kind of just tanked that industry. Like, you had to take 4 days in seclusion to make a bad decision like that. It doesn't really speak to their business model.
So, Bracken, I've got a question for you. Is your Sweden trip actually kind of one of these retreats? Is that what you're doing? Is this a cover up?
Some ayahuasca situations happening.
Are you going to come back and break up with me?
No. Have you seen some of Benny's playing the ukulele on top of the mountain on peyote dancing around?
Not on my own accord, but they've been sent to me.
This is that, but for 2 weeks under the northern lights.
And little do you know, while you're gone, Bracken, Benny's my first interview.
Good.
This is going to be...
People need to find out about
soap
what
opera.
He's been up to. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of weird stuff.
Are you going to get
Sweden?
Kirk just got back from the land of a million dongs, so I mean, he probably did some weird stuff there.
Did you bring any dongs home?
What? And you know what? I don't mean to. We got to talk about dongs at some point, and I'll tell you what: people in Vietnam pee wherever they feel like, whenever they feel like. So I did indeed see dongs in Vietnam.
I was
You gotta
talking about their
pee?
currency, Kirk.
I know you were, and I
Yeah.
spent a lot of dongs too. But dongs everywhere. You got to pee in a public place. Who cares? Face it somewhere that there's the least amount of people and go.
That's how it works, huh?
Dude, you get off the highway and every half a mile there's some guy pulled over just whizzing, just because that's the best spot to go. So anyways, yeah, I saw some dongs.
Where's the weirdest place you saw someone pee?
There was a guy who was riding not a cow, but like a they call it buffalo, like a water buffalo. And I'm 90% sure he was leaning off the side, peeing off the buffalo. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's
an all-timer right there.
Yeah.
I've never peed in that situation.
And this buffalo was tied to a rope next to the highway. So this buffalo wasn't going anywhere. He could have just got off the buffalo, peed, got back on the buffalo. This buffalo was tied to the rope that was attached to the ground next to the highway, which is a common scenario over there. But anyways,
I wonder if he's gotten to the point where he can only pee on the water buffalo.
Off of or on the buffalo? Because there's a big difference right there, Bracken.
While seated on it, peeing off of it. I wonder if that's like his thing now. He can't function. He can't get it to work without that one specific scenario.
I'll go back and ask if you want.
That's like the public toilets that we saw in Frankfurt. Rich, you remember that? The cat went in.
Oh yeah, it was like a urine. It was like a porta potty, but with a full
stand-up
sink and like a whole like a mirror, and like it was like you couldn't fit in it because
But it didn't have enough
stuff.
room for your feet, so you had to stand above it. So like you got to go number 2. That's not happening unless you're like 4 feet above the toilet.
One's only.
Yep.
All right, this is great. Didn't miss a beat.
Always devolves. Yep.
I haven't missed a beat.
You started this, Jack, with your
I
your
agree.
currency comment.
I was talking about currency. Kirk decided to bring in, going to the bathroom. This is his fault.
I was gonna try to keep dongs off the table today, but
impossible.
No, the dongs stay on the table.
What's the dong to dollar ratio again, roughly?
$1 in the U.S. is roughly 23,500 dongs. So
Nice.
you're paying in the millions for stuff, and it feels super bizarre. I took out $300 US day one, and I timed it perfectly. And I used my card a lot too, but it lasted me 2 weeks. It was like a million bajillion dongs, whatever that was. So they go quick.
Dongs.
Big dong exchange rate over there. So.
Nice.
Big rate. Yep.
All right. So
what does Sweden use?
Dongs.
Is there a cool name?
It's gonna be dongs.
Isn't it like crowns? Maybe that's
No,
not
it's
Sweden. Maybe that's Denmark. I don't know.
all right, I got it.
The
Krona.
Krona, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
It was
Krona.
close.
Pretty
Krona
close.
bar.
Krona. Krona.
Yeah.
I like it.
So 20.
The dollar is actually less valuable there. $0.097 is 1 krona.
$20 is 206 krona. That's what I got.
Got it. Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, man.
On the euro.
Gonna be living. I'm moving on. We're moving on. So this weekend we have Savage, Georgia, which is the first stop. We don't have a great idea of who's going to go. So I think we're better off taking next week to recap it and kind of take in what the new obstacles look like. And we spent some time talking about Savage and how that's going to work with Spartan this year and how the series are going to kind of shake up. But we don't really know who's going to be there. We don't really know how it's going to play out. So we're just going to wait and see on that. So
This right here, this very exact scenario is the downside of not having a standalone host, having one of us be the host, because we have a perfect opportunity here to sing your praises, but you're going to be fake modest and not bring it up. Can we just start by saying Rich Ryan broke 60 in Hyrox and leapt into the Elite 15? We get a little round of applause here. Jack
did not impressed.
I was clapping.
Unimpressed, Jack Bauer.
I was the one keeping everybody up to date on his splits and stuff. I'm like, he's
I was
heading
watching.
into it. Yeah.
I was commenting on the live stream.
Break it down. So I've been completely unplugged. So I'm going to ask for anybody else who's been completely unplugged, right? I've detached completely. So now I'm getting back into the world. Obviously, we saw Hunter's results come in astronomical. We looked at the splits. You compared some of the do's. Where would you have ended up? Like, we have other races left, right, Rich? So staying in the top 15, we'll see.
We'll see.
But how fast do you think you would have run overseas on that course based on what you saw?
So
Based
based
you would
on
have been in for
based
sure.
based off of pretty much nothing, I think that course was 2.5 minutes fast.
2.5.
What do we think?
Probably.
145 to 215.
You've got to look at like what Geoffrey Voisin did on other courses, because he ran 56 something, and just kind of do the shift math right there. We knew Hunter was fit. We saw him in Dubai. He's fit right now. But yeah, I
he's
would have
not
gone
sharp for Hyrox, which sometimes is better, sometimes is worse.
Yeah,
What's
I mean,
Voisin? Is he 59 in his PR?
he was outside of the top 15 going into the race at like 59 high, like 59.50, 56, 40 something.
So what do you think? How many big races, like who are the guys that could still leap in front of you if they hit the right race? How many are out there?
I say
Everyone
there's
in Europe.
like, if they catch another course like that. So I was looking. Bracken, did you catch any of that Spanish race, the Barcelona race? I've been trying to go back and find it because I wanted to just like see some stuff. I saw some photos. Like, we all know the sleds are a little bit faster. The sled push wasn't dramatically as fast as some of the.
Was so fast.
They have different ropes.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have like the black stretchy ropes that make it really hard to get tension. They have like regular climbing ropes. They're different. Like, cool. Their sandbags are different too. Everything seems to be different there.
Every year or every season, really, first half and second half, there's one course. It seems like every year there's one course.
Frankfurt, and now this.
There's been like 3. Glasgow was one of those courses too, but it was just way up there in Scotland, so nobody went.
So, Rich, I was just gonna say, it almost seems as if you're racing people with super shoes and you're not wearing them. That's like the disadvantage at this point.
But I am wearing them. BK.
I know. I'm just trying to help you out. But
So break down your race then, Rich. So walk us through it, because that's a big result, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, walk us through. I haven't heard anything, and I've been MIA in the group chat. So
before he starts, I want to preface this one more time. This was the most impressive sub 60 I've watched. And not just because we have the personal attachment to my new co-host, but he was dead in the water 2 stations in. Done. A minute off pace already. And then he PR'd by a minute. Just wild. I've never seen someone come back from a bad station and PR. It's just not that type of bad. That was a full minute bad. So now go, but just say, I want people to realize how this wasn't just you got a little better. You got like a minute and a half or 2 minutes better, but you only showed 1 minute of it because one station just imploded.
Yeah, is that what you were thinking when you're watching it? You're like, oh man, it's like crushed them.
Yeah, and your body language didn't look good on 2 of your stops. Something you were just like, you had to like readjust the sled, and you did like a. Yeah. At one point, I was like, oh no, this isn't calculated anymore. You actually looked frustrated.
I was a little bit frustrated. So what can happen in Hyrox is you can actually just get a bad lane. You know, like there's nothing that they can really do about it. Sometimes it just is like stickier than others. And this one in particular, and what ends up happening with that is, I don't know if there's like a bunching, and I could actually feel there's like a timing mat in the middle of the sled push.
Really?
Yeah. So they can tell how many, so if you skip out, they know that you did 3 lengths instead of 4 or whatever. Usually you can't feel it, right, Bracken? You've never been able to feel it.
I didn't know it was there.
We could feel it, and it was like probably 1.5 foot, maybe like maybe like a meter, I don't know, of like bumpiness in the middle of the carpet. So I'd get around there, and it would hit, and it would start to tip, right? Like when the front end like hits it, and then the back starts to lift up, and that's another reason with the American sleds with the weight stack so high, they can tip a little bit easier. So that was happening. And I think on my first push, I was like, I have a bad lane. But instead of trying to push through it or just trying to like really hammer the thing, I just tried to still not overextend and just come out and try to execute the rest of the way. So I didn't blow myself up, because then it's like you're pushing harder and doing more work and getting less out of it. So I just tried to keep my cool, and then I just didn't think about it again. Once it was out, that was it.
Well, that's the veteran part of this, is I've been in that situation. I think I got a bad lane in my second one, and I had really bad shoes on. I decided, because I had my meniscus tear, I just went with the most cushion light shoe I had, which was the Evo Speed Goat. And as we all know who have the Evo Speed Goat, that bottom is slippery on anything other than dirt, like actually slick. And I was so prepared specifically for the sled push, and I could not move my sled more than like 2 or 3 steps at a time. And my pull, then I took back like 40 seconds on Cole on the next station. So it wasn't that I wasn't ready for the sleds. My sled was just bad, but it blew me up for the rest of it because I was so desperate to overcome the sled. I gave away time and energy. And you just decided, it looked like you just decided, okay, I'm giving away time, but I will not destroy myself in 2 fronts. I will just let one front happen. And I couldn't do that in mine, and your veteran composure showed during that.
I was down a full minute from Anas.
Yeah.
After the
Whatever.
push.
You just said he looked terrible and he looked like he imploded, and now you're patting him on the back.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate
Like he stood there with the body language of what am I, but he didn't like pound and pound and pound. He stopped, he waited, like he was outdone, and then he came back. But hearing it, it's because he had composure.
Nobody did others deal with the hiccup with the speed bump there, or what?
It was
Some people did.
Some people did. Some people had faster pushes. I think Anas was closer to 3 minutes. There's some people like in 3:11, 3:15, 3:07, 3:05, 3:07.
3:07, I think Anas
I was closer to 4. I was like 3:55.
Yeah.
So either people pushed through it and pushed harder to just make it to make their time that way, or they didn't have the same type of, but you know, these are American sleds. Usually 3 minutes is about as fast as you're going to want to go, and European sleds will be 2 minutes.
Have we ever seen anybody other than Hunter go and hammer the sleds and then go on to have a lead and go to victory, like authoritatively? Seems like anybody who seems to be 30 seconds to a minute down end up making that up on the backside always. I'm sure there's somebody.
Jack's right. Kenton, North America.
When he did that in Chicago
last year,
Hunter never had anyone with him after, and he's like, "Oh crap, someone's with me. I can't do my normal tactic." And Kent just ran away with the second half.
And interestingly,
so he hammered that sled early in that race.
Yeah.
Yep.
I forget.
Point of emphasis. Okay. Interestingly, though, Hunter didn't hammer the sled in Barcelona. 225, I think, which is very fast, but we've seen 158, we've seen 205. He went in, controlled and fast on the sled, and then got to work.
He was braking. From what I understand, He was braking right away.
He took his normal brakes.
Yep. And the sled just moves well. And since then, like Kent, that he had that great race in Chicago in 2022, he's since tried this year. He tried that at least twice to try to hammer the sleds up front, and he's paid for it. The time that he actually broke is where he had that breakthrough race and a massive PR. So it's starting to seem like, unless you're in Europe, like most of the time in European races, the person who wins does have the fastest sled push, just based off of the output you need for a European sled versus an American sled. But racing over here, it's really hard to maintain that. So by the time I got to that sled pull, I was feeling strong, and I could tell everybody else was not feeling as great after that push, which was also encouraging.
Yeah, great pull.
Rich, question for you on the sleds while we're still on this topic, and I don't want to switch only to the women's race because we're going to talk about it after, but they went at like 9 a.m. or something. You guys were 2 p.m. or something like that. They didn't have the full day's worth of stuff getting, crunched up, and they actually had a smooth surface right from the start because they went early. And then we saw 2 women, Vivian and Chris Rogloski, end up making the Elite 15 currently. And they had pretty solid sleds. Do you think if you guys went at 9 o'clock, 9:15, that it might have been a different story?
I think it matters a little bit. Yeah, but I don't know. People always want to factor in the humidity. It's getting sweat on, how hot it is. So earlier, it's going to be less used, less like wet, less all that. So it probably is a little bit of an advantage to go earlier. But
It was just an observation
yeah.
because we typically, we've seen the usual suspects, Lauren, Meg, they've already qualified for the top 15 through their placements earlier at the regional championship. But we saw a couple sneak in who didn't have great races before, who ended up going later in the day last time. So I was just wondering if you thought might have had an impact, but yeah.
I mean, maybe, but it's just like everything in Hyrox that I want to complain about and have complained about at this point. It's just like, I just can't even worry about it anymore. Going into the race, I didn't want to hear what happened in Barcelona, but they started announcing it. People were coming up to me. It was like, did you see what Hunter ran? Did you see what Voisin ran? I was like, ugh. So I just like laughed. I like where I saw the times in Frankfurt before a race in LA, it was frustrating to me. But this time I was like, whatever. Like, of course he ran 56. Of course he ran 54. Like if Hunter was in the shape that he was last year on that course, like, does he run 49? Because there's no way he's as fit as he was last year at the World Championships. Like, what does he even run on there?
He went 27:43 for 8K.
I know.
That's absurd.
Well, the inner splits were very fast.
Yeah.
But
the rock zone was
the
a little
bookends, 1 and 8, weren't slow.
That's the thing.
Which you always have one or the other. You have long middle, short ends, or a long end, short middle, and he had short middle, shortish ends. And so it's just rock zone to counter it. It felt shorter. It means that he's ready. Yeah. He's going to be a problem, right? Like, he's always a problem. But that was a special course. So catch you up. Rich went out in second place. Anas pushed the run, pushed the ski, and Rich chilled on the ski. And actually, it was one of your slower skis.
Yeah, it's about typically where I am.
Okay.
Was that Anas who was? I saw a video on your Instagram, and it was like some dude was already on the erg, like going ham, and I was like, how fast did he run his first lap? Was that Anas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
went out like a shot. Okay.
Well, he's the 357 miler.
Whatever.
And he's pulling it together. Like, he hasn't had a good Hyrox to date, because I think he does try to overextend himself, and I think he did that a little bit here too. I think his fitness is right at 65, maybe under 60. But if he puts together a good race, so this was his best race to date for sure. But I still think it was like a little bit too hot.
His great sled meant he wouldn't have a great time.
Right. And it caught up to him by like burpees. He was a little slow. Wall balls, he had a tough time, but he hung around.
He did well. Yeah. So Rich was in second, then dropped a minute to Anas, and then got to work on the pole and got him right back into it.
Mm-hmm. And by the time we got to burpees, he was going a little bit slower. The judge was on him too. The judge called him on a stagger. He was in his ear a couple times, and then he finally was like, okay, go back. That didn't count.
The last one.
I know, the last one.
It wasn't even his most egregious. It's just like he had to make a point of, we got to call him.
But it was a stagger. And that's the thing, that at stagger step, it's not in the rule book. It's not written as against the rules. But when you're on the course that day, they're in your ear saying, do not stagger your step on the step up.
Now, I was watching his. Anytime you got a chance to see him put his hand next to some sort of marker, about half the time, his left foot then would come up and exceed where his hand was. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing wrong with the stagger in theory, but his stagger did exceed it a little bit at times. But he was also putting his hand down really close to his feet, where some people are getting away with their hands 2 feet out in front of their feet. And it doesn't look as egregious as the stagger, because the stagger looks bad. But what he was gaining from it was less than what we've seen with a lot of other people's forms. So they still have some verbiage to tighten up there.
For sure. And this is another thing that makes the course inconsistencies even further. Just like, what's the judge like? What's the judge like on, Voisin had a great burpee, and Hunter's burpees are bullshit. If you watch them, he does that Hunter hop. He calls it the Hunter hop. He'll jump. He'll put his hands straight down. His fingertips will touch the ground, and then he jumps his hands out in front of him. So he has like a 2-part piece. So it looks like he's doing it, but then he cheats and he doesn't get called. I don't know if that's what he did, but that's what he has done in the past. And he does them in like under 2 minutes.
I think he was 2-0.
Let's see. I have it right
202
here.
maybe.
202.
Sounds about right.
Right. Same as Bracken's 800 currently.
That's probably about right.
Yeah.
There's a group of my collegiate guys in the WEAC that are all turning 40 this year, and they're getting together to break 2 in the 800 in
No,
August. So
You-
in
you getting-
Milwaukee,
you getting with
I
them?
want to show up. Hell no.
I'll run an 8. That's
If
one
we
of those
want to try to
races.
break 15 in the 5K, sure, but
But opposite for me. If someone wants to run an 8 any day of the week, I'll show up and run it. Because how bad can it be? 5K?
bad.
You got to give me
bad.
a lot of time to prep for it and a lot of time to get over it afterwards.
You just
I think
get
it'd be
Macaulay
harder
in
to
there
put-
to rabbit. He'll
Right.
run 157 somehow.
Every time.
I don't know
But,
if you were continuing telling Rich's story, Bracken. Did you want to do that? Otherwise,
No, I wanted to catch it up to that because we want the rest of his recap then. Because he came out of the sled pull something like 15-ish, 15 to 20 seconds behind. And then he got to the burpee broad jumps, if I remember, like 12 or 15 seconds behind. He ate into it a little bit and then caught Anas on and passed him coming towards the end of the burpee broad jumps. And that is I think of all the stations to catch someone on, that might be the best one in terms of just like transferring energy back and forth. So I want to hear from you getting to the burpee broad jump on.
So I knew the pull was solid, and yeah, let's see what he had. He had, he had a minute and a half going in, a minute and 8 seconds going in the sled pull, and then coming out, he only had 27 seconds. So, and then 24 out of the rock zone. So going into burpee broad jumps, it was like 22 seconds, and being able to catch him in that. I mean, I still wasn't trying necessarily to catch him, but seeing him there was a little bit more motivating. And but I'm mostly focused on making sure my form is good on those, and just
You were
making
clean.
making sure
In fact,
everything was consistent too.
You were pared down. You had wiggle room to do more. And it was a great depiction between the two of you of more aggressive form with a slower work rate isn't an advantage.
Yeah.
Like he was doing more within the rules, but you were just never stopping. You were metronome, boom, boom, boom. And you ate up 22 seconds, probably put 7 or 8 or more on them.
That was kind of the idea of it. Is just like, just don't stop, you know? Yeah, it was 3 seconds by the time we got out of the rock zone. So it was like, 26 second swing in that one station. And then when we got into the row, my row, this is the best row I ever had. And I could tell he was kind of fading back a little bit. And then at that point of the race, if the row is going even just not horrible, I know that like the race is, I can finish the race, because that's where it really falls apart for me, at least. If the row is not going well, it's like, okay, the rest of this race is going to be terrible. So then I was just kind of doing my own thing.
What is it? Is it the sign that your thighs, your quads are done? If you can't row, you can't lunge, you can't wall ball. Is that kind of what it is?
I think it's just overall energy. Maybe it's like, I think it's just total fatigue. That's where I get to that point of the row where I'm just like systemically exhausted. Something's not right, or I just expend too much. Not necessarily localized. I don't ever feel an incredible amount of localized fatigue unless it's like in the middle of lunges or in the middle of wall balls, or at the end of wall balls, I should say. But the overall fatigue can really hit me on the row. But that felt good.
You said you had, before we started recording, you said you had something to bitch about, Rich. You said,
Yeah.
I got something to bitch about.
Sure do.
The Hyrox, and it wouldn't be an episode without that. I don't know if we want to jump to that now or you want to finish your story, but I keep wanting to ask.
We could, and then because it has to do with the way that the Elite 15 qualifiers are. So this put me in by, like, it just got under a guy who is who ran a time at Frankfurt. So the chances of him running another time that fast are pretty low. And he came over and didn't do that well he didn't do well at European Championships. He might not be someone who's going to be a threat. Tom Hogan's a threat. Seb Conrad is a threat potentially if he decides that he wants to do it. Nothing would make Bracken happier if he comes out and just crushes. He'd be like,
really?
I think so. And not really.
He might be. You just know things about me now that we've hosted an episode together.
That's true. We went deep.
What's the roll down situation if everybody doesn't declare?
Who the fuck knows?
Okay. I didn't know if that was obvious or not. I mean, most would, I would assume, but there might be one or two.
There could be somebody who gets
the
hurt.
same.
In theory, it's the same. Yeah.
Gotta be top 30.
Doesn't go past top 30.
And just to clarify, Rich, the qualification window is 2 weeks before the championship for everybody out there. So that's Hong Kong and one other, Copenhagen.
Copenhagen.
Maybe? Yeah.
This is what I want to bitch about.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I don't have all of the numbers here, but our last opportunity to run a qualifying race domestically is in Anaheim, which is April 22nd. Right. And then I think there's 3 more European races after that race where people can qualify still. It's a really tight window for travel, just logistically for travel, 2 weeks to book flights abroad. Like that's less than ideal for me. And they've already had, I don't know, 25 opportunities in Europe, maybe 20, whatever, to our 7. So it's like, just end it when our last opportunity is, just because they've already had their chances and we don't get any more. So I wish they would end it like a month or like 2 weeks earlier, because now it's just like, okay, now I just have to sit here and wait. I'm not going to get a flight to Copenhagen. That's not good. One, again, it's expensive. And 2, it's like not good from a race scheduling perspective. I'm not going to race to hopefully try to get in or to stop other people from jumping above me in that space. So they're just making it hard.
Mm-hmm. If you had a team behind you, the only way to make sure that you're in is you have to book a 2-week European trip with Copenhagen as your qualifier, and you stay all the way through Manchester Worlds.
Right.
That would be the route in. But otherwise, everyone just has to play the waiting game. But it's not like everyone gets 4 shots. I took mine now and wait. It's we got 7, they got 22, and our 7 are done. And you're screwed. Now Hunter's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Getting over to Europe now.
Found a fast course. He's like, hey, where's it going to be fast? Barcelona. Let me do it.
Yeah. And he didn't need it.
Yeah.
He's going to run 57 anywhere he goes or better.
Like he's probably under 57 at that same course that I ran in Dallas. He's probably closer to Kent's time, maybe under a little bit, but he's probably under sub 57 shape right now, which is still amazing considering he hasn't raced all year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rich, you mentioned it's the same weekend as Copenhagen, and you're kind of miffed about that. How about Hong Kong on the other side of it?
That's fine. If
that's
people want
fine
to go
because it's Asia. That's the chance to qualify. It's complete opposite side of the world. It gives people from Australia a chance to head up there without a literal around the world flight to try to qualify. But I think Europe has too many shots already.
And if someone like Tom Hogan wants to go to Hong Kong, great. Yeah. But like, you better believe like he'll be in Copenhagen if he's not qualified. Peter Schiller will be in Copenhagen. Like Dieter will be there. Like Holger will be there. All these guys who can break the top 15. And if that course is fucked up, then what? If they all run 55s and they bump out like everybody, will they just let it stand? Because right now it's not out of the question that Tobias gets bumped out with a 58.06. If there's a fucked up course and people jump up, he could get bumped all the way out. Like, do you think that they would be like, do you think then they would be, maybe something's not right here because our own countryman is getting screwed over in this? But
had they all gone to Barcelona, it would have happened.
It could have very well happened.
Mm-hmm. You'd have to be in the 57s to go now.
Mm-hmm. And there's another Spanish race in like 3 weeks. And that's just like, it's like, should I get there? I
might just run 59 flat in Stockholm here just to prove a point.
Just get in there. I think you should.
And then you can register under my name and go compete.
I like it. We basically are one. We are one person at this point.
You're lucky. I have an ego and a high self-esteem, you two. I'm just saying. Bullshit happening right in front of my face. What do you think? Let's say in Anaheim you get a fair course. Fair course being what you just got this past weekend. Let's call that a fair course.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, fitness doesn't change. Execution on point. Where do you think you can land? And if you do execute, will that get you in? What do you think?
Well, I'm hoping fitness changes some. You know.
All right.
Right. I think under 58 is on the table. Like there's some things on the back end of that race I could clean up for sure. The sled push, there's at least 30 seconds there conservatively if it goes well. And then some faster running. Lunges can be about 20 seconds faster. I think there's like 10 to 15 on burpees that could get better. And I think the running could be a little bit faster too. So I think I could be under 58 on a US course. And then that'd be fine. You know, that's the plan.
And what was the 15th time? Because did you qualify 13th, 14th,
8 seconds
15th?
faster.
I was 15th last year, yeah.
You were 15th. What was your time last year that got you in?
60:35.
Okay. And would you say that because you were 58 and change, do you think it has more to do with quality of field, or does it have more to do with course discrepancy, that the time to get in will be faster this year?
Probably a combination of both. It'd be interesting to see how these times.
If you had to pick one, you have to pick one. Which one do you pick?
The discrepancy, of course.
That's what I picked too. Okay.
Yeah. Just with like, there's a lot of new names here that are dropping 3 or 4 minutes in a weekend that are filling in this top 15, that it's just like not reasonable to think. Like I would hope this like a 59:11 would be at least like 10th, but instead it's Thiago Lusa who ran 57:54 and has run 62s since he's run that. So like those times should be excluded. Like if you can't prove that you're like reasonably 2.5 minutes within like your fastest time, I think that should be like, okay, this is an outlier. This is incorrect. Or Jack, you could pull up something statistically that would make more sense, right? You could probably
I have.
Do you think it could be like not to get into the weeds too much, but like a mandatory, let's say 3 race mandatory throughout the year, and you are forced to drop your fastest and your slowest, and you get the best of the rest, for example, or the average? Like, is there something that could fix that? Like that be that simple? Or then people be like, they're making me race 3 times. Like that's bullshit.
Well, what if you chose like Frankfurt, Barcelona, and whatever the next fast one in Spain ends up being? It's like you've got such an edge over someone who did LA and a couple other slower courses. Like, what can you do about it?
It comes back to you qualify into your North American champs and you race your way into worlds.
Gotta race, gotta be heats, can't be time. This is cross country, not track.
Yeah.
Even
and that's what we have to
CrossFit.
embrace. It's cross country, not track.
Yeah, just think of the CrossFit quarterfinals right now. They don't have the same number of spots for Oceania or Africa or South America, but they're pretty much equal in Europe and North America because they realize the talent is about the same there at the top. You have about as many good people, so they have the same amount of qualifying positions for around after quarterfinals. They could do something just like that for the regional championship, using athletes only who live in their region. But we've discussed that ad nauseum in the past.
So we'll see what they do come next year. I'm excited to see if it's just like a marginal change that they'll make, where it is something like that simple. It's like, okay, the minor improvement we're making this year is that you have to race in North America to qualify for the North American Championships, and then everything else is the same. That would still be stupid because this is clearly not right and slanted toward the European racers. And if it's only 3 automatic qualifiers, then like the depth of field at Dallas, like there's guys coming in the States, man. There are good athletes out here. Like how many people were under 63, under 65, under 67? It was like really good athletes that are going to be here. So the depth of field is coming around. So like, I don't know, like if Austin Azar, Marcus Wallace is in Spain, they would have been in 58s most likely, So I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see how they change it. I don't have the highest hopes that they'll completely revamp it, but they'll do something.
And the issue is, just like cross country, you'll never convince anyone who competed at that course that it was a fast course.
Right.
Like I ran the fastest course probably in the Midwest in college at Kirk's alma mater at Oshkosh. Extremely fast. And it's not easy. It's not easy.
There's
at
no one gradual hill.
Yeah. But at no point during the race are you thinking,
that you go down.
Crap, this is a fast course. Because you're working hard and it hurts. And afterwards, people are like, what's your college PR? And I tell them that in Oshkosh. Like, all right, what was your other PR?
Yeah, right.
But you'll never convince me.
All short. Lehigh's fast like that, yeah.
You'll never convince me it was an easy course.
It wasn't easy, yeah, but
it was a hard effort. There's an uphill rise towards the finish. or at least from like 400 to 200 out, if I remember.
You gain
correctly,
like
Kirk.
3 to 5 feet, yeah, in about 150 meters.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
feel it as you're kicking. You're like, I'm kicking uphill. What the hell? That feels like a difficult course. And it's the same thing over there. These guys are out there working hard, and you'll never convince them that is an advantage, because they're out there feeling it. Like if you went over there and went 58, you'd be like, see, this wasn't that fast of a course. I didn't get one of the good ones. Whereas everyone else would be like, look at, he just PR'd. You're like, no, I know I had 58 in me in the US and I did it here. Like, it's just, I didn't get one of those courses. You'll never convince the people in the race. And so the athletes are going to keep countering what is being said over here. And it kills that groundswell of, we need change.
Yeah. That would suck so bad to go to Europe and get like a regular course. That's what I'm worried about.
Could there be something as complicated as like wind aided, like in track? Like you take the average time of the top 10 and you're like, okay, this is 2.5 minutes deviation of center. We need to put it into a formula, which sounds crazy, but we do that in professional athletics all the time in track and field, like wind aided adjustments.
If we could put this on, if we could put it on a track, you do all your runs on the track, you do all your pushes on the infield, I think you could do it. But with these different venues, like,
but that's the point. The venue is the wind.
So it's actually really easy. They have this in pretty much every professional sport. They'll have like ERA plus, which is like you bring everything down to the seasonal average and the yearly average, and that way you can compare what happened in 1920 versus 2008, for instance. Like there were more runs back, or now versus back then, so you can kind of adjust offense and results like that. You could do the same exact thing with running time. It's like, oh well, every single person ran like 30 seconds faster on this course versus the other. Maybe there's like a plus 30 adjustment.
It's the logic's clean, but the athlete differential between who shows up kills it.
Right.
Baseball, you get 162 games.
Yeah.
What they could have is someone who you'd have to find someone who is always in the same level of fitness. Like I don't even know who you would have. Can't choose Graham anymore because he's working with Rich and he's going to keep getting more unfit. But if you had someone who would show up and be your course tester, I will test the push and pull, and then I'm going to give it its handicap, and I'm going to wheel the run course in the rock zone and give it its handicap. And then we're going to talk about the angles in and out, hairpins versus, and then you're going to have this course is a plus 52, or this course is a minus 180. Like you would have to have a handicapper on course testing each component of it to tell you what the course is worth. And then even if they're off by 5%.
I don't hate it. I love that actually.
But how would you do that?
That's a job for Dave Magida. He would love to do that job. I feel like
but he's always hurt or
I'll
really
do the numbers.
He actually had a good idea. I'm giving him credit, but like to decertify a course, if it is the statistical anomaly, it could be like, okay, this, you can't qualify for Boston on this course because of it,
downhill.
of the downhill, of the wind, or whatever it is. Like that, like you look at a course like Glasgow and be like, everybody ran better by like 2 minutes. Everybody. That's just like, that's how it works. And then having something like you mentioned, Bracken or Jack, if you have some sort of advanced analytic that you can look at and be like, well, this is decertified. This no longer is a championship qualifier.
Have Hyrox push the sled and pull the sled the day before and wheel the course. He's always fit. He's always training for other things. He's been on every course. He's felt it all. Have Hyrox do it. He could probably give a pretty decent, this is about 15 seconds faster than you. He could figure it out.
Yeah. Rich, to go into your Magida argument right there, you see what happened in Arizona for Spartan this weekend? There was like a course cutting, and they were like, sorry guys, you're not getting your age group awards. We can't certify this course. That's essentially it. It's like your result doesn't count. Same deal should happen in Hyrox if it's like a bogus course.
Now they're not going to get their plaque at the end of the year.
I got like a double plaque. I mean, these guys are like freaking pinch and penny sending me multiple things that I don't want.
Didn't they go back and rectify that? I thought they went back and
they changed it to a DQ to a 30-minute penalty.
Yeah. Lovely. Yeah, one of my athletes got a bunch of race. One of my athletes got, speaking of plaques, Dustin Needham, he who's improved a ton. He got, I think, 5 or 6 deltas last year, and I think 3 out of the 5 were wrong.
Oh my God.
One belonged to Ryan Atkins from a U.S. National Series race. 2 belonged to VJ Jones from a National Series race.
That's an upgrade.
Well,
Yeah.
of course it's a huge upgrade, but what did VJ Jones get? Did Ryan Atkins take first place in the Charlotte Sprint or something, and that's what he got? Like, I mean, it's just interesting. Like,
Yeah, Kirk, I've still got this, my 2019 San Francisco. Oh, look, it doesn't have a thing because they wrote the wrong stadium on it. They're like, we'll mail it to you. This is almost 4 years later.
That's
Still
what
haven't
black
received it.
magic marker is for, Jack.
I got an
No,
extra.
no, no. I don't have the plaque to put on it.
I have an
Yeah, you
extra.
just write it in there.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I guess.
can have
Oh,
it.
if you want to give me that 4 cars.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I got like 3 of those. All they send me like one every week.
Yeah.
So
You're blowing the protein budget, Rich. You alone.
All that metal.
worth it. On the women's side, Vivian crushed, Chris crushed.
Yeah.
Chris is funny, like in like our post race interview. I talked to her a little bit after. She's like, "Yeah, I mean, the difference was that I'm fit now. Her last Hyrox was 2 weeks ago. She's like, now I'm fit." Like, okay. It's just
You're
There's
under
something to believe in it, and that's it.
2 weeks is enough time for that body to be shook into its place, though. 2 weeks after a big effort that just kicks your ass, that recovery adaptation cycle happened. I think 2 weeks is magic. I can
She
believe it.
looked
2 weeks is
fast.
magic.
Just
Yeah,
super
much
quick, you were talking, Kirk, about, a couple of weeks, it just changes how your mentality is in the race. Do you think that doing that, those 100 unbroken wall balls for you was a game changer when you teamed up with Bracken? Like you kind of not look forward to the end of the course, but you're like, I've got this now.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I was more going into the wall balls like, don't be a bitch. Do not let these wall balls beat you. But that wall ball effort did like kind of turn off, like get my gears going about like speed of wall balls.
Yeah.
And like there was a different cadence in which I was going with the lighter ball. And that's something I've been practicing. And even with breaks, I was still able to do a much faster wall ball just because I've been focusing on my
your
pace.
cadence looked good, but your brakes looked good. You were taking fast breaks. Now I know you took 2 more than you wanted to at the end. However, especially that last one.
I couldn't get the ball up.
I know.
I was jumping this high off of the ground. I was like,
Your shoulders were that smoked, or what?
it was
the end,
actually my legs. I just
You were
couldn't
getting
keep
to
up.
a side push.
Oh yeah, trying to get it up there. I picked it up. I broke maybe with like 6 to go, and I picked the ball up, squatted, and didn't throw the ball. I just was like, ugh.
And
And
you
I
did
just-
101
You couldn't
squats.
generate enough power in the quad. The quads were just gone.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
I've almost never had that experience in a Hyrox. Usually I'm pretty good, so like there's definitely some conditioning that needs to be improved on that. But took it there, got it all the way, almost to the very last drip of what I had in those legs that day, which is good.
Yeah. Because what was your time? You were like 3:30 on the wall balls here. What was it?
344.
3:40. Okay, sorry. So you were like 30 seconds or so slower than when you went unbroken with Bracken with the heavier ball this time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's turning the page versus what you had before. So
Your rests were purposeful. They were quick, but that last one looked funky because when you see people fail out on a wall ball, they're wobbly coming up. You popped down, popped up, and it was like something didn't fire. It's like, what the hell? And then you went down again and it came up that time. But I've never seen someone fail a wall ball there. I'm like, that was a blank.
was a blank, yeah.
Totally short circuit.
Shouts to Jeffrey Voisin though. His zones are really strong, and I think he did 100 unbroken wall balls. He was like 321, so he can do some zones. He just can't run. That's like, I don't mean to like disparage him, but like the eye test wise, it's just like it's hard for me to believe that time could come from that running ability. But his zone work is nasty. Really nasty. So he's at the World Championships, and he's also someone who has raced he's raced pretty well in both the North American and European Championship, and had beaten these guys who had faster times in front of him. I was worried that he was going to get bumped all the way out, and after he's proven that he can race well, caught a good course, and now he's in. So he should be in, maybe not with a 56-20 or whatever, but he should be in this race for sure.
sweet.
All right. So
I found it interesting before you move on. You came into the last station and what's his name? Dylan goes, Rich has a 345 in him for wall balls if he needs it. You won 344.
nice. Take that,
Selling
Dylan.
out. So
Yeah.
that man just is dialed in. to what everyone has for not just his own work rate. He knows everyone's work rate.
Who did he, in terms of comments in the live feed, was he like plus 30 over everybody else, or was there balance? How were you active in there? Who had the second
I was more
most
active
comments?
than not. He was up there.
Plus, not plus 30, less?
Less active
Less.
than he is on Let's Run.
Is he on Let's Run?
No, I'm talking about you.
That's you.
I'm not active on
Troll
Let's Run.
there.
You're lying.
No,
Mhm.
I probably posted 4 times in my life.
You're an active viewer.
I'm a voyeur.
You're like my mom on Facebook.
Your mom's a voyeur?
Yep.
Seemingly so.
Better than a poster.
So, all right, we got some good stuff. Some exciting things for Hyrox. Now that I am in the Elite 15, now it's exciting. Before it was bullshit, but now it's exciting. So that will be things that we will be paying attention to. Anaheim coming up, Sweden this weekend. BK will be there, dropping 59 flats, potentially getting under.
You're 100% racer, Bracken? I thought you were just joking about it.
I'm 100% not racing.
Oh, okay.
Not 100%. I have probably a 10% chance that Meg Jacoby decides not to go set a world record. If she does doubles instead, I'm gonna saddle up and ride.
Can you measure the course just so Rich gets a little bit of validation?
Yeah. Do we use what? Chronos, dongs? What do you want me to measure with?
Chrono dongs.
Definitely
Wait,
dongs.
is Stockholm coincidentally this weekend?
Yeah, it's the 25th, and we land the 23rd.
There we go.
Huh.
He's in there.
There's no
Easy.
that is pure coincidence, Bracken.
Pure
Bracken
and
likes to
because
keep
I have
some things
no
tight to the
desire.
chest these days, you know. Is there some master plan that you keep?
I
us
didn't
dark on?
plan this vacation. I didn't even pick the dates.
No.
Uh-huh.
Makita's
I
got
also
Rich
so
and I
have-
did.
Yeah,
I have zero desire to run an open. Team, I will run all day long.
Rowan Pro. What do you mean run the open? Of course.
I mean, sorry, to run an
Solo.
individual.
Oh.
I will zero negative percent desire to run a pro.
Come
I would
on.
consider running open. I will not do pro, and I would do doubles any day of the week.
I bet you
Well,
would
this
have.
is a type of fitness to do pro that I don't have.
This is a smooth transition into someone who will do any type of race, including open and then team and then relay. Chris Rogloski dominated this weekend.
Worth
See what she
noting.
did?
Yeah.
No, what you do?
She ended up getting second individual, and then she ran with Cassidy Watton shortly after as a two-person race, and then she did the 4-person mixed relay later.
And she won
Tracks.
both the
Second
team.
fastest ever for the mixed relay. I don't know how she and Cassie did, but I'm assuming it was pretty. It probably went really well.
They won.
What did she do?
Well,
after
time-wise,
all of that?
yeah.
That's what I want to know.
100 miler.
Yeah.
And that's honestly, she probably raced so well because the weather has been nicer and she's been able to get outside. I think she just feels better. She's just like a happier person, and that's good enough for her fitness.
Bracken, you mentioned on our podcast recording yesterday that the first Colorado winter you experienced was tough because you couldn't get dialed in like you wanted to with your training. She's probably just going through those doldrums, and now she's creeping out of them, right?
Yeah, I had my trails, my climbs, everything that I like to do. I had my routines, and every day something different was open or closed and you couldn't get to it. And I'd drive to where I wanted to be, and you'd get 7 minutes up the trail and it'd be a sheet of ice, or you'd get 20 minutes up a 60-minute climb and suddenly you'd be at waist deep snow. And then it's like, what do you even do then? And at some point it was like, well, I'm just going to stop trying to get my quality stuff done outside, and it threw me off. It took me a couple of months to figure out what is even like the flow of a Colorado winter. Because our Wisconsin winter is much different. You know, something hits and that's what you're generally going to have for the whole time. And if this is closed now, it's going to be closed. And you have 2 places you can go and you can count on it. That's not what it was like. And she's in a slightly different spot, but your first winter in the mountains, you have to learn what winter in the mountains gives you for training.
I thought it's been a pretty mild winter. I don't know how you feel, Rich, because you've dealt with winters in the past. Chris is from Texas, so she hasn't had a whole lot of winter experience. But overall, in terms of like snow and having those crazy wind days and stuff, like I thought it's been actually pretty reasonable. But there is an adjustment period for sure.
We had a stretch of 3 or 4 weeks where it was really cold and the snow was just
That might have been.
around.
I might have been back in New Hampshire during that stretch because I do remember around Christmas and New Year's it was pretty nasty.
It was nasty. Yeah. Like now it's
Okay.
been, the sun comes out and does that thing where it snows and then
Yeah.
it's gone. But it wasn't like that for a while.
And it's
saw
light
some-
until 7 o'clock again. Like
Yeah.
we've got better days now. Yeah.
One of my fitness tests out there was the Falcon Trail at Air Force Academy, 13 miles, pretty runnable terrain. So that was my flat ground test in Colorado. And I went out there one day because we had less than like 6 inches of snow in the last 2 weeks. And all the local flat trails were really compact or really easy to run on. And I get out there and the first mile and a half was great. I go up the first like mini little ridge and it is thigh deep snow that's just drifted up. I was like, what am I even doing here? And I ended up running like 6 mile loop in an hour 32.
Right.
I cut in, did the short because I spent 45 minutes fighting, redlining through thigh deep snow. It's like, well, I'm not going to come back here again. I'm not going to make the drive to come do this place, even if it was open the next week. So I have to imagine she's an outdoor cat and she didn't like being cooped up all winter.
She's an outdoor cat. Nice to know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
true.
she just begs peaks. You can't beg peaks in Colorado in winter
Not
unless
seriously.
you're
Nope.
like mountaineering.
Right. Right. And she's just running up using her hands, feet. So it'll be interesting to see how well she comes along too, because I think that time's going to hold. I mean, there's no guarantee, especially with goofy courses in Europe and Spain. She's 12 right now. There were a couple athletes who did run in that Barcelona course that are now well into the Elite 15. Rebecca Mason had a huge PR. It was like a 4-minute or so PR. And then Jezebel Kremer also jumped into that top 15. The name's below.
Yeah. Jezebel's legit on the OCR scene. So
This is from second or third.
she did pretty well last year at the European Championships in Hyrox. So she's good. She's good.
She's in her early 40s. So hybrid, starting that late in your 40s, that's pretty impressive to be able to do what she does.
She's got a frame though.
Yeah.
Really who I can see in the back of the 16 to 30, Felicity Cole, she's one of the better ones in the UK. She's 16 now. She could probably jump up if she seeks out a course. And then Camilla Massa, she's kind of right on that edge. She had a stomach bug that she tried to race through in Dallas and just decided to pull the plug after, I don't know, maybe the pull or the burpees or something like that. And honestly, Tamarind Robinson, she ran in Hong Kong, 67 in Hong Kong, 67 flat. She's a really high level CrossFitter. If she decides that she wants to kind of go out there, if she's training for this and wants to hit that last Hong Kong race, could see her making a jump. So Chris, you're not safe at 12 with goofy courses around. And that's if Ida decides to not do Worlds, right? Like she might not. And there might be some people, and like the women's race last year rolled down quite a few spots. So being 12, I think she's going to be all right. And same with Vivian, which I'm real excited for.
Think there's any Europeans that could look at that? Because Chris was how much faster this past weekend than she was at North American Champs?
Oh, North America, minutes.
7 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. Is there anybody that can look at that and throw that back in our faces?
Yeah.
I'm sure they're
being like,
trying.
Of course. Right. I mean, we can argue both sides of the coin, but we all know Chris is capable.
She's the world champion.
That's the difference. Correct.
Literally
but
last
nonetheless,
year.
we could look at this however we want to look at this if you wanted to do it that way.
That's someone
Just
made
saying.
that point about Kent too. It's like, oh well, Kent dropped this much time. I was like, Kent got second in the world last year. It's not like some goofball finding some course and going from a 62 to a 58, like 57. Like it's not.
How much did he PR by?
Yeah, like maybe a minute.
Less than a minute, I think.
Yeah, it was less than a minute.
Yeah.
This is
I
how
would
you do
bet-
well on a Hyrox. You go out there, you lay an egg, you hang your head, and then 2 weeks later you show up wherever you can and you go frickin' dominate. That is the script that people need to follow.
We're gonna package
Works
that up and
every
we're gonna
time.
sell
Look
it.
at it.
We're selling
You
it.
should go to Copenhagen and just shit the bed.
And then show up at Manchester and crush.
Yeah, just crush. I would say Ida will do Worlds. I mean, she's a
There's no way she
sponsored
won't do
athlete.
Copenhagen.
It's high profile. She and Leon do like a lot of front facing things for their brand. I don't see any reason she'd miss that. But Vivian, I loved watching her this weekend.
She's no
Did
joke.
you see her farmers carry?
She's legit.
She sold out. She started doing the rich Farmers towards the end? Was that Chicago for you, or where was that? Where you're getting real close and you're
her
one
finger.
arm's-
She's just holding on with
Orlando.
like 2 fingers, like could
she
barely
tried
get
to
it
bring
there.
it back up, and now she's
Yeah.
curled over and she dropped it. Finally, her arms just failed like 3 feet
But she was like
from
done.
the station.
She just like
and she
slid it
plopped
over.
down and then just like, ugh. She's sold out. She's so gritty. I loved it.
If
Yeah,
I'm not
she's great.
mistaken, DECA Strong World Championship, that's where she made a move as well, right?
At Farmers, she made a pretty early move, potentially.
I thought she went from like 5th to 2nd at
Maybe
somewhere. It was either there or shoulder overs, but I thought it was Farmer's Carry. She made a move there as well.
Jack loves a good Farmers carry.
Heck yeah.
He's,
Yeah.
he's
we
paying attention.
saw some fast ones, like Hunter went 114, Austin was sub 120. We're seeing some
Marcus
good
Wallace
ones.
was when they showed the clips of Marcus and Austin doing it. They were running.
Yeah.
They were running with those weights.
And
Austin's
Austin
a
negative
monster,
split
dude.
it looked like.
Yeah, and it looked like Marcus did the same thing, kind of kicked that last whatever that is, 50 meters or whatever.
They showed a bit of Austin early, and he was doing like kind of a waddle jog. And then at the end, I thought he has hip extension. he's opening up his stride on the Farmer's Carry. What is happening here?
It's a big dude, man. He said he weighs 205.
Probably.
That's sizable, and considering what kind of endurance that dude has,
Yeah. I saw him in
That's really
Kelowna last
impressive.
year. I thought he was a moose.
he's like legit.
Kirk, what do you think I'm up to right now?
Wait, what? I only see it from the nipples up, so
Yes,
it's
you
hard
do.
to say.
Sure.
Let's go. Sure. 182.
Okay.
What are you at?
184.5 right now.
Keeps
Oh,
going
got
up.
you
Keeps going
beat.
up.
He's going up. Hypertrophy.
Bulking season.
Too many cheeseburgers or too much weight? Oh.
This is weight room right here.
Wow.
I'm leaning down while doing this.
I'm
Maybe
waiting.
I am doing Stockholm.
We need to get this guy a photo shoot.
My previous high was 181 for Hyrox, and prior to that, my high was 178. So this is uncharted territory.
Well, on the
I'm gonna
lightest
be a
I've been in
moose
about
by
15
summer.
years. So
Yeah,
the earth giveth and the earth taketh, and it taketh from me and giveth to you.
that's right.
What do you at, like 145?
142.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Really?
No, I'm like 168
Oh,
like in the
I was
morning,
like-
I would say.
No.
We were packing last night, and I had a pair of pants I generally travel with that I just don't ever wear in normal life. But the last time I wore them was for Ireland, and they were slimish then, and I put them on yesterday, and they were leggings. Like, oh my goodness, I'm actually growing out of clothes right now. This is getting bad.
Yeah. Let's
I have a metric. I have a metric to decide when pants are too tight, but I think it's almost too inappropriate even for this podcast.
A visual metric, a subjective.
Yeah,
like
a,
a type of
a
currency.
visual metric.
does it involve
What's it?
Vietnam's currency?
It involves more like when somehow one ball is above, like the dong, like it's been
beans above the
squished
frame.
into that position. Yeah, like it's been so tight that it got shoved up and things look like they're out of place. I could get more graphic, but if it's that, those pants are retired until you slim up, Bracken.
I may never go back.
You really enjoy it.
Yeah,
Hmm,
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
gonna be a heavyweight by 2024.
Hmm.
Let's just give Vivian her dues also, because she was 5th at North American, right? And then came back not too long after. Heck of a performance here. I think she's solidly in the Elite 15 at this point.
She's going to be someone in years to come because she's young too, and
Yeah.
she's made this massive jump in just 1 year. She's
Yeah.
going to be a staple in that
Yeah.
Elite 15, pushing for podiums. Like she will be.
Yeah.
like, she's probably the youngest U.S. competitor in the Elite 15.
Maybe
her, and-
Chris
her and Chris might be
also.
around the same
Yeah.
age,
Yeah.
but
Vivian throws her hat in the ring also. Like
she's going to
not-
do hybrid. It's like she's a hybrid athlete. She's not
Yeah.
anything else.
She's dual
And-
threat too. To be
Yeah.
only Meg has had her level of success at DECA and Hyrox.
Well, Lauren.
Lauren,
Keep forgetting about Lauren. She
Can't forget
she
about
disappears for 3 weeks, and
she's that out of mind, just like that.
Yeah. But Vivian also, she's a swimmer. Jezebel Kramer is a swimmer. I know at one point in the past, we were like, does anyone else have a swimming background? Jezebel was like a national level swimmer in France growing up. So you've got 2 elite level non-running backgrounds for the top of the high road or a high rock sport right now. It's pretty impressive.
If hybrid takes the water, if they ever enter a swim into this
Oh, yeah.
mix,
Lauren
was a
was an all-state
lifeguard.
swimmer.
Lauren was a swimmer as well.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
maybe
Lauren,
that's
you're
what it
right.
Alex Ronkovich, swimmer.
Yep, Kent. Yeah.
Kent.
That was a
Life.
swimmer.
He was a lifeguard for a while. I'm sure he could
You know
swim.
exactly what kind of lifeguard.
That's about
Yeah,
chicken.
that's
Are
a
you
good
kidding
point.
me?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's absurd.
We
All right, I
watched
rescind my
West
comments.
Virginia.
Take it back.
We know what type of swimmer and lifeguard he was.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right.
He's a fine swimmer. I'm not trashing him.
I'm sure
but
I'm sure he's
is
a
he,
fantastic lifeguard. A lot of
is he the same
value.
level as Ciro
If you
or
s-
Eugenio?
if you sort columns, you don't put him in the swimmer column.
No,
As a
How would he have
background.
done How would he have done in the Mexico Spartan race? Would he have been on the buoy?
Jack Bauer Comedy Hour, fucking just knocking it out of the park on that one. That was a good laugh.
Hunter is a lifeguard. Yeah, he was a swimmer too. College.
All right, I got a would you rather. If we added new obstacles, this is a complete curveball now. We're changing it. Would you rather have as a new obstacle, say an OCR, 30 overhead squats at 115 or a quarter-mile long pipe layer?
Pipe layer all
Pipe layer.
day.
Quarter-mile long pipe layer would
Because
take
lifting is
20
not an
minutes.
obstacle.
I don't have the overhead mobility. To,
New
to do
task,
that
new
many.
station.
Yeah.
Well, you could work on it. You're
What
going
was
to
it,
quarter
15?
I could also
15
work on pipe
overheads
layer.
at 115. Is
30.
that the weight?
30 at
30 at
115.
115. What if
So-
you can't do that with a PVC pipe? Where
You
does
gotta,
that
then you
work?
got to work. Then you got to work on it.
So we're saying like what's that? Maybe a minute and a half or faster if you know what you're doing on those overhead squats.
Quarter mile
Or-
pipe
or
layer
a
takes
6-minute pace through pipe layer for a quarter mile.
6-minute pace. You think you could go through pipe
No,
layer?
no. That's the equivalent that I would have to do 10 mile
Yeah.
an hour. through
You couldn't
pipe
even
layer.
do 20-minute pace through pipe layer. It would
No.
be an atrocity.
You'd be banging your shins.
It'd be a 10-minute obstacle.
I mean, those aren't really fair equivalents, Rich. But
It's
I
a would you
guess-
rather. That's what we're
Okay,
talking
I'm,
about.
I'm working on my overhead at this point. Then, as good of an obstacle as pipe layer is, something tells me once I reach like the 250 meter mark, I'm kind of done
I
with
think
it.
somebody dies in there. I think somebody goes in there and doesn't come out.
Like, how could they going so slow, like a 2-foot drop? Ah!
They get turned around. You can't find me.
Yeah, they
I think
starve.
somebody gets the spin, throws up, and just lays there and dies of dehydration.
You put like dark walls next to each, so you're just in it and you just don't emerge until
Yeah,
you're
you put a
done.
tarp over the top.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if you get like a great technique, like grab this bar, slip under the next, rinse and repeat, right? You somehow come up with a formula. That's still taking 20 minutes minimum.
Oh,
Not
easy.
acceptable.
That's the new 3K course. It's just
I would
3,000 meters of pipe layer.
I would still rather have that than one barbed wire crawl of normal distance.
I was gonna put it as a quarter-mile barbed wire crawl. Is what I was gonna put.
I'll
I
never
do
do
a pipe.
another
I
OCR.
do quarter-mile pipe layer over quarter-mile barbed wire.
Barbed wire is the worst.
If they,
What are we crawling on? What's the surface that
And
might
even just
That's
grass.
the thing.
Make it
So
even
you-
nice.
You can
Wait,
make me
thanks.
crawl over puppies and I wouldn't enjoy it.
we're trying, or they're
You wanna-
trying to make the sport faster, more
puppies.
explosive, and everything. Get rid of the pricks on the barbed wire. Just like
I thought you meant like in upper management.
Yeah, too.
Like,
Yeah.
good idea. We've been
no,
talking
all right,
about
whatever.
this.
Get rid of the barbs and just have the wire. How about that?
Yeah,
They do
shot
it.
cord.
Don't they do it for
Yeah.
Savage? Isn't there a crawl,
Yeah,
a cord
you
crawl?
still have to crawl, even if it's bungee cords or whatever. But like, you don't have the long-term consequences of crap. I mistimed one single roll and now I've got a scar, and now I'm bleeding and causing other people to bleed who come after that. Like, I don't know. I think that if they want to go for speed, they should just get rid of the barbs on it and just put a low something. You still have to crawl, but less consequential.
Okay, let's go around the table here. If we could all bring back one obstacle that we've seen in the sport and not anymore, and there's no doubles, we all have to choose something unique.
Spartan
what would
only?
you? Let's say we're still fixing Spartan.
Spartan only.
This is continuation of the Super
Okay.
League
Tractor
episode.
pull. I'm dumping right in. Whatever.
You're-
Done. Tractor.
You're bringing
pull.
tractor pull back in.
Double
Oh
sandbag.
my good. Yeah, tractor pull.
Tractor
What's,
pull.
what's the
double
tractor
sandbag.
pull?
Like a big cinder block
Concrete
tied
block
to like
with
a
a
rope
chain.
or a chain.
Oh,
You
not
drag
an
that
actual
shit around.
tractor. Not okay.
Yes.
I thought it was
Which
like some
would be
strong,
sweet.
some
Oh.
strongman shit.
Isn't
That's
it
why they don't
called
go to the
tractor pull,
Midwest
or is it called
anymore. No
something
more
else?
tractor pulls.
What was that called? Tractor pull, right?
Yeah, tractor pull.
Some kind of pull.
At Worlds,
There's a
We
video
had to
out
do
there of
two?
Hobie Call in Castaic, I think, and they make him the course tractor pulled through a lake, and suddenly he's dragging this, and he just disappears. like he could have died out there. Anybody could have died out there. It was like he was tied to a boat anchor. It was amazing. That sort of tractor.
They got creative with
Spartan
that.
was real, man.
We took it through a swamp in Carolina one time, and you had to just like pick it up, shake the muck out, and then keep going. They did double tractors. One time there was a tractor pull with a log carry at the same time. Ooh. They did some cool stuff with that. Cool. I support that.
Was there ever a slide?
Not for Spartan that I
Never
know.
for Spartan
had that.
Oh yeah. Washougal had a slide.
Give me a slide.
Yeah.
I want a slide.
That's
Nothing devalues
walls and slides.
Go watch Cody Moak go down a slide in Washougal and tell me that brings credibility to the sport.
I want to make it dumber. We're going the opposite way. We're going way
Where do
more
we put
dumb.
the bubble house?
That would be something.
I think also that it was in like Breckenridge and a few other courses where you had these vertical like skinny posts and you had to traverse it. It wasn't a balance beam, but it was like a series of going on the post. You need balance in there.
Jack,
somewhere.
I saw your last attempt at balance in Dubai, and you don't want that
significantly.
Are we sure?
Significantly at the end.
We did like this little, like we just put a bunch of kind of like parallettes together, like this other team did, and we just jumped in on it, and we were like kind of walking, trying. It was Uzbekistan. They thought they were going to be good. They were not.
Yeah. I basically was a European who came over to the U.S. course for Hyrox. Didn't perform how I thought I would.
And we all went through, like, Chris is great at balance. VJ's great at balance. Like, Ryland is also good. Kent, trash. Can't balance for shit. And Jack thought he was good at balance. And I'm not. I'm like moderately good at balance. I figured it out like in like 10 minutes. And Jack just got worse and worse. You could see him.
Kent used to post those slackline videos all the time.
That's what he said.
That was back when he was a hippie. Now he's just like some hybrid meathead.
Now that he cut his hair
for shit.
That was back when he was a high-level swimmer.
Exactly.
Kent's gonna have to chime in on that one.
Yeah, because Rich, you went to Castle Rock and I was crushing all the balance stuff there.
I don't remember.
And then I don't remember Kent being a good swimmer either. But then we go to Dubai and I just lost my ability. I got the yips, but I figured it out.
I like went and did some other stuff. I like had a full meal. I did another workout. Came back. Jack is still doing like 2 of the parallettes and falling off. Like,
it's an exaggeration.
Not too much.
I'm really sad I missed that recap of that event. By the way, I have no idea what happened there. We don't need to get into.
Listen to our episode.
No, we'll send you the link.
Rich is on it. I don't listen to anything Rich does.
How dare you?
I am not into it.
We'll do a Matt Davis and just send you the link so you can bump our numbers.
Yeah, we'll message you in the group chat
in order to send the
yeah.
We watched with the kids this last weekend. We watched the new Jumanji movies. Not new, but the remakes.
Those can't be good.
First one's pretty solid.
Is Kevin Hart in that?
Kevin Hart, The Rock.
He's from Philly. He's from Bethlehem.
Anyway, what's good about it is that when they land in the video game, their character has been assigned to them and they're not who they were. So Jack Black is the personality of like a 16-year-old girl. And he does a fantastic job playing that. Like those things are funny. But anyway, in it, because they're in a video game, you tap your chest and your attribute profile pops up, your strengths and weaknesses. And I'm seeing now if Jack's popped up, it would be sun and balance.
They'd be way down.
Balance wouldn't be that bad in reality.
Like as he was like going through the game, the board in the game, if there would be like a flashing sunscreen, he would grab and his power up a little bit, and then you have to find it again once it goes down.
Colorblind also, you've got some red green stuff going on there. I'm screwed.
What would your biggest weaknesses be akin to Jack's sun and balance?
Yeah. We already know mine. Go ahead. You guys answer yours.
Spelling and document formatting, apparently.
Bracken's would be hair.
You haven't seen my back?
Mine would be a group chat.
Yeah, you're pretty bad at that one.
And I would just freeze.
Group communication. Yeah, you get lost.
Wait, so I've got 2 things and you guys only have 1? Come on.
Well, you're not a very strong player.
You assigned mine as hair growth.
Hair growth, yeah. I mean, mine's weak on that too.
We need to finish this out. I said tractor pull. Jack said double sandbag, which I very much agree with that, by the way. What are the other ones?
Slide.
No, whatever.
What do you mean?
No.
I don't mind a slide. There was a game changer in Savage a couple times. People trying to get out of that
Teeter
slide
tuber.
pit, not teeter tuber.
It was the water
Get rid of
getting
that.
out of, not the
Well, they
slide
had
entry.
how they get into that
Fury
water.
Force. Yeah.
Okay, Bracken, you go, and I'll get
I
one
would bring
that
back
Kirk looks better.
mixed obstacles, carrying a sandbag through a section of the course that has other things, or combining two different types of carries, or that kind
Put
of
walls in
thing.
there for Rich. Rich really likes the walls.
Yeah,
Walls are hard.
mixed obstacles.
You know what? Actually, I would do. I would make it a front-loaded bucket carry again, not that stupid on the shoulder.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Grip.
hate that.
Do
That's
it
so
real.
hard.
Do a
It's so
real
hard.
bucket carry.
Oh,
I would have the fire hose carry from OCR Worlds in every race. That's what I want to.
The shake weight, basically.
Just the shake weight.
Yeah.
They need to keep that in.
Bracken's
I'd have
so
more
good at
water
that.
crossing.
More
Not necessarily
water.
even swimming, but more time in and out. It's iconic at every venue. When you have that Asheville venue, the old one,
Yeah.
that river section was iconic. Hawaii river section is iconic. You have Florida's water crossing. It's part of the race. You have West Virginia. It's part of the race. It's Tahoe. It's like it becomes a big part of what the race is. I don't need them all to be swims.
Yeah.
Why
I don't want
don't
Ryan
they-
Kent running away with it.
why don't they do like a
Swimming
series? Like
away with
if they put a 12 wall series of 8-foot walls, that would mess some
Be
shit
nasty.
up. It
Yeah.
would be fantastic. And that'd be a simple thing to do. Walls are cheap. Not that they've never done that, I suppose, but they should do that.
Well, and you might have 3 6-foot and 7-foot, 8-foot walls on the course. Why not bring all of them to the same section?
Over under through.
Then over.
would be on my-
Bracken the
that'd be on my
over.
weakness list.
Yeah.
So one question for you, Bracken. You said you were talking about getting wet. Did you see the start lines recently at races?
I don't know where you're going
It's
with
not
this.
hop over a wall.
Mhm,
It's crawl under barbed wire
mhm.
while they're spraying you with the hose to get to the start line.
I like
Is
it.
that going to fly in the 3K series or any pro heat?
I'll leave.
I
No.
don't think so.
No.
I'll leave.
They're going
Well,
back to
and
their.
then-
I'm not doing that.
They do like the 10-minute Arouge spiel, and these people are freezing in 40 degrees, covered in water at the start line.
You guys have done terrain race, right?
Yeah.
Start
in the water.
in a pool.
Yeah.
They have like pools at the start. Like I got in and I was like, what the fuck am I doing right now?
Yeah.
I was like, right when I was getting into this year, I was like, wait, is this dumb? I was like, I don't think so. No,
I think it
but
is, yeah.
upon reflection.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to fly. I think that if that'd probably be one of the single like biggest complaints that anybody ends up saying, no matter how good the race goes. That's my opinion.
I think it's optional. That's not something
Better
for
be.
pros. They are turning Spartan Race into Tough Mudder.
Could you imagine Elliot Kipchoge standing on the start line of the Tokyo Marathon and they're spraying him with a fire hose? Like, hey, you got to get wet before you do this. Like, that's not happening.
Spartan up, bruh.
So your answer was water crossings. Is that your official answer, Bracken?
Either more water on course or just mixed obstacles.
Okay. What did Rich? Did you have time to?
I don't even know if I should say more water, just gnarly terrain.
I like that.
Yeah, I'll give up mixed obstacles. Just give me the worst terrain. Seek out. I want at least 25% of the course, if not more, to just be intentionally difficult terrain.
Yeah, let's put like how about this?
One clover loop.
Clover loop. Like Tyro or like the Tarzan swing, something over water. Make it like more things like Ape Hanger.
And longer. Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that good?
How about
We
the
don't like
I'm happy with
we
that.
don't like the slide. We don't like go running through.
The sport's becoming a mockery already. You can't double down on that.
Oh,
Rich.
I'm double that. We're gonna make it like one of those color runs too. What we need to throw
Oh, those
color
are
in.
fun.
Yeah, that's what we need in this. We need to bring that into just like get it all colored up before we go out.
They do that on the climb in Sierra Zanal, don't they? They throw that
Oh, they do.
powder up in the air.
balloon powder?
Picture that 3K with a slide per loop.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Be a
You
game
guys
changer
don't
in
know
that
what a
1,000
real
meter.
obstacle course race is until you've done Dirty Girl. Don't you deny it.
How'd you do that?
Don't ask questions you don't want answers to.
I want the answers.
I did Dirty Dog Mud Run. I think dog was even spelled with 2 G's.
With an AW or just with an O,
I think it was DOGG.
like Snoop Dogg.
DO double G. Yeah, well. Did the
Is
hell
that in
run?
Illinois?
Hell Run was in Illinois. Dirty
Oh.
Dog was in Wisconsin.
Gotcha.
So if we're going to be topical for a little bit and let's be positive, what are some things that we are excited about for this OCR season? Let's go from a fan perspective first, and then we could do from an athlete perspective
I've
second.
got mine.
Jack's locked and loaded.
Nicole's coming back. That's what I'm excited for. Get another name in the ring for the top women.
What's
When,
her status?
What is it? Is she gonna
She's
do
racing.
West?
No, I know,
West
but
Palm?
what percent? Like, is she Adrian Peterson coming back, or is she
Yeah,
more
she's doing
like
2,000 yards this year. No, she's been running like 40 plus miles a week. Like she's back. She said
She's committing to
fast,
the
though.
3K format.
yes.
Hmm.
There was an OCR report article saying that she's going to be doing all the 3K races.
So she'll be in West Palm. Nice.
There's also an OCR report post saying
Palm
that
Beach.
Joe DeSena is fighting Logan Paul.
That was ORM.
That's what I meant.
In that same post, I said that we actually want you versus Chris, but
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's more likely to happen.
Yeah,
Well, for
that's a
anybody
guarantee.
She's one comment away.
who listens to this and then the running public as well, I go on a pretty bad rant about how I hate the 3K, don't I, Bracken? I got a little fired up about it.
You're
He's
not
out.
doing it?
He's out.
What?
I'm out.
We gotta go.
I'm as hard out on the 3K as I could be on absolutely anything in this world.
You haven't even done
However,
one.
really.
Yeah, because I would enjoy the race, but I do not want to train that way. I don't want to train what it's going to take. I do not enjoy it in my heart.
All right.
Don't need to get into that right now. I rant on our own episode about it. But the thing I'm looking forward to the most is actually watching it, which sounds really contradictory because I'm out, but I really do want to watch it as a fan and a spectator.
That's
So I'm looking
disappointing.
forward to that.
So we're not gonna. When are we gonna get the gang together for a race?
I'm out on taking it seriously. If I need to
Yeah,
show up
so am I.
to be hang with the boys, that's
Okay.
different.
Let's
But
do
I'm
it.
telling you, I'm out
I'd
as
say
far
we-
as like giving a crap about it.
Let's do like a 3K, a Deca Fit, and some other standard race. So we get 3
An
races.
ultra. And I want to
An
race
ultra.
Chris.
Chris will show up to all of them.
Road Ultra.
No. Oh. I'm going to back my man here. The longer the race
Which
is.
one?
Yeah,
Me?
let's see. I didn't even say anything
Eric,
yet.
come
I
on.
haven't even said anything yet.
Let's not do this in front of them.
It's not me.
Okay.
Jack, you're my boy. And you know that. You're the only one I've wrestled.
Yeah, that's true. that we know of. I think
Isn't
bottom
Jack
right corner
really
on this screen right now.
slippery though all the time?
You're the only one on this screen that we've had our sweaty torsos pressed up against each other while wrestling.
While wrestling.
The longer the race is, the more you can train for it the way you like to train. The more you have wiggle room in how you get there. The shorter and nastier the race is, the more you have to do certain things to guarantee that you're ready. And they have to happen without other things happening. Like Kirk doing his 15-mile cut downs and his 50K trail race course record assaults does not fly with preparing for a 3K. Can you do it off of that? Sure. Can you excel off of that? No. Can you do all those things while preparing for a beast? Yeah, and it's probably going to make you better for it. So I understand that concept of I don't want to go all in and get rid of some of the things I'd like the most for some of the things I'd like the least in order to have a measure of success.
Thank you, Bracken.
Yeah.
So is he picking the same thing?
Am I?
Yeah. Wait, what are you most
No,
was
I'm
just
just
backing
supporting
me.
that.
He was
I
just
support
backing
that.
me.
I understand not
Just giving you
wanting
lip
to train for
service.
this. You can jump into a Spartan Beast off several different styles of training and do very, very well. You don't even have to touch obstacles before winning a Spartan World Championship. You really don't. But
So-
you can't do that in a 3K with 1,000-meter buy-ins.
No. Yeah.
I care too much to show up with like training the way I want, but not specifically enough for the event, and then like go take 10th place. Like that doesn't move the needle for me absolutely at all. To do well, you have to fully commit, just like you do to a Hyrox. I think in this 3K format, you got to be all in. I don't want to be all in on that. I don't want to work grip strength for an hour a day, 4 times a week, go to the ninja gym when I like running out in nature. I don't need to justify my decision, but thank you,
Yeah.
Bracken.
And I don't know if all in is the term. Like Atkins is going to do really well off this with whatever he does, but he
He's done-
loves
yeah.
doing grip training. It's infused in his life.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. That's just not it. What am I most excited about for the year?
As a fan.
Okay. It's going to sound like I'm not being nice, but I swear I am. I'm excited for what this year does for 2024. I cannot wait to see the 2024 structure of the sport. Because this is a year of change for OCR, and it's either going to cement us down this path, which, okay, I'll get behind that, or it's going to return us to our roots, and I will get behind that. But I'm interested to see what this year does. Does it implode? Does it explode in popularity? Does it cement what we thought we knew? Does it cement that everyone was actually wrong and the 3K is the way to go? I'm excited to see what it means by the end of it, because I will get behind any version of the sport if it's proven to be good. I didn't think it was going to be good, so I didn't want to get behind it. But now it's to the point where I'm excited to see where this goes. No matter what the result is, what does 2024 look like? I want to see do these top pros commit to this to make it an awesome thing? Or do the everyday age group and elite waves just become really, really cool because that's where the pros are showing up? I think that's what I'm most excited for, to see where people, like, where the party lines shake out.
You can't wait for the season to be over. just like this. Just can't.
I mean,
wait
that's the negative take of what I said. Yes.
But yeah, you're right. Like, how's it going to shake out?
Every step of this year is new, and that's always exciting.
That I think is a very exciting piece of this. Like, how is it all going to change? Because this is a drastic difference from what we've seen previously. So it's going to be something to talk about, and like the way things are going, like we're going to be witnessing history and how it kind of changes the trajectory of what's going to happen. So
what are your predictions? If we're going to talk about real quick, a 30-second elevator speech prediction, each of us.
On what's going to happen?
Like, what does this do for the following 2024? Because we know nothing yet. We're blind still, which we have no data.
I think next year's a hybrid of this. I think they're going to be too tied into this to back away from it, but they're going to, I would guess, there will be pieces of old back into it. It won't be only 3K series. There'll be other events that matter again. I think it'll be 70-30 3K and other. That would be my guess. Something like that.
Because we're going to roll out our series. Kirk, we did miss you on that. I think you would really like the conversation we had last week.
What was it?
We made our own series
Custom
based
league.
off of, our own super league with other races and stuff. Give it a listen. I'll send you a link. I think the 3K is going to be about as successful as we all think. So not very, and that they're
I
not.
think it will be.
Okay. I won't speak for Jack. Jack's all in on.
What do you mean
the
by
series.
successful? Like no one shows up, or it's not popular?
It's not popular. It doesn't move the needle for Spartan in any
Isn't
way.
that what no one shows up means?
No.
To, like,
I think
view.
the top athletes are going to show up and compete and put on an awesome show. I don't think it'll be popular amongst the masses. I don't think it's going to lead to
the masses can't even do it.
I don't think people are going to watch. I don't think people are going to care.
Right. That's what I mean. Sorry about outside popularity. Will it move the needle for Spartan as a business?
No, and it won't. And I think they'll be like, well, we're going to completely divest from the competitive side in general. Kind of the most negative that it can be, but it's certainly getting that way. And instead of them just kind of ripping the Band-Aid off, they've done this piece where they're slowly kind of pulling away. And I think next year is the year where it's going to be nothing.
Hot take.
What do you think?
I don't think Spartan cares who shows up to the 3K. Spartan is saving money. They make their money off of all the other racers and races anyways. This isn't a money game for them to create the 3K. I don't know what their angle is here, to be honest, because I don't see this generating revenue unless it's through sponsorship. So I think no matter what, who cares if the big names show up or don't show up? If they have a series and it's fun to watch, and as much as I hate on it personally, I think it's going to be the most fun Spartan racing we've ever watched. And so I think it sticks. Whether they offer prize money in the future or not, I don't know. But I think it's going to be the only thing worth watching to somebody who doesn't even know what they're watching that they probably put out. If they do a high production value, it's the only thing engaging and short enough probably to be worth watching. So from that standpoint, it's 6 rounds. But hopefully. I could see Rich's point of the money. I mean, Jack, on the back end of our little group chat, I did see something about the fact that somebody had to argue very hard for there to be any money this year. Somebody who we didn't even think cared. So it almost ended up being what Rich said, right, Rich? It ended up being Tough Mudder.
Yeah.
So
I think that's where we're headed.
I think so too. But I think the 3K is gonna stick. That's what I think.
Do you think that after this year, it's going to be easier to say you're on a plane and you're talking to some random person who knows nothing about OCR? Is it going to be easier to explain what we do after this year?
It's the same thing.
No.
Same thing. Okay.
I race
What you think?
Hyrox.
Yeah.
That would be super easy.
Okay.
They'll know, and that'll be worldwide brand.
I'm a hybrid athlete. That just everyone knows what that is.
Well, it's
So,
kind
Jack-
of like CrossFit, but you run a little bit more.
Not blowing up your name drop in that comment in that thread we have going, but we all were under the impression that Spartan wanted to move to 3K. They wanted to partner with World OCR or the Olympics or whatever, and in doing so, they also slashed prize money a little bit. Now it sounds like prize money was going to be gone, and it was fought for to remain in this limited capacity. If that's true, is there a chance that the 3K was a simultaneous last ditch pitch by someone to say, let's keep the money around and let's put on this other thing to try to drum something up? Was this an afterthought for Spartan as well, where this would be easy to axe at the end of the year? Or was this going to happen either way, with or without prize money? And it was going to be more towards like making teams and worlds and things like that. Wait, what was cart and what was horse here? Do you know?
I
Like,
don't
is this
have
easy to axe?
I don't have the specifics on the second part of the question. The first one, yes, prize money seemed as if it was going away, but somebody really fought for it behind the scenes. And that's the reason it still exists in any form, even if it's a smaller amount. So that part I know about, but I'm pretty sure just the smaller multi-lap format has been talked about for a while. I don't know their implementation timeline, like when it started being talked about and stuff. So you'd have to ask Steve or someone like that.
So if that was going to happen either way,
I don't know for sure, but it seemed I know that it would have been in talks for a while, but I don't know the timeline on
so
that.
if they were prepared to roll that out without prize money, can you imagine the reception of that compared to how it was received, the negativity
Already?
it received, the way it went out?
I don't
now?
know if they were going to.
They might as
roll
well.
it out without prize money. I think that the no prize money was discussed after last year and stuff. And like I said, I don't know the specific inner workings and the timeline of everything. I just know what I've been told.
Gotcha.
That would have just been like, oh, okay. So I guess, Jack, did you answer? What are you most excited about? You said you're most excited about 3K series.
I think like Nicole coming back.
Oh,
like,
Nicole
that's going to
coming
be
back.
good
That's
for
what
the
you said.
sport.
Yeah.
I would love to see Nicole back to Adrian Peterson level of post ACL surgery against the best in the world, who at this could be Lindsay.
Should be.
And it could be a different Canadian.
Could be Ida. She won 3K World Championship.
Could be Ida. Yeah.
Rumor has it that some Europeans are coming over, not just Ida.
And Buell's going to be a problem.
Is he coming over?
If he's one of them.
Coming over for series races?
But Emma versus Nicole on a fast course is going to be fireworks.
Ugh, so many obstacles for Emma, though. The density of
Not
obstacles are
hard
too
ones,
much.
though.
Yeah, but like she's not good at easy
Could be.
ones.
No. What obstacles have cost Emma races?
Olympus, monkey bars, multi-rig.
Anything with the hanging
Anything.
on truck thing.
I can't say. Well, she missed monkey bars for sure in Asheville, but she missed everything in Asheville.
That's first year. That doesn't
Monkey
count
bars,
first race.
multi-rig probably won't be nasty in this. Olympus probably won't be in it.
She's not
Spear
gonna-
throw's
Can
not
you
going to
imagine if we
She's not-
get any precipitation for one of these races, what that's going to be like?
I mean, Florida.
People aren't going to finish.
Yeah, they should time cap the thing. But
I think it is, because you look at the results and they had most of the winners were like 7.5, 8 minutes in that Jacksonville for like the first heat for the 1,000-meter course. And then it was either 15 or 20 minutes. They had someone without a time listed. And I think that they set a cap for the rounds.
I'm most excited about the emergence of athletes. Like if they're new athletes that we don't know, like that can add to the depth of field that pop up, or athletes who have put in the work to specifically do well in this. New athletes to talk about, new storylines to show. Like I don't like the old storylines.
I
Like,
thought,
I don't know.
yeah, I thought we kind of discussed that earlier, where we think it's going to be a lot of the same faces, even though you're dropping down in distance.
Well, we can't know if there's going to be new faces.
It's true.
Did you see Hawk Call's Ninja Warrior video?
No.
He was at a ninja gym doing some pretty legit obstacle work
Nice.
and looking good doing it. If Hawk Call has figured out obstacles, he's going to be a real problem.
Yeah. He already was.
In this format.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been a problem on this format last year.
I'll see a double sandbag on him.
He put in strength. Like I saw him doing a couple of DECA style workouts. Like I think he's intentional trying to get stronger this year.
Here we go with Jack. What did he tell you that you're just like, yep, believe it? He said he's the best in the world at double sandbag.
Is he in the
A
series?
lot of swimming.
He has someone who he's related to who can definitely help him get strong.
Benny.
Benny can do it.
Not related to him, but close.
She legit to quit.
All right.
Anyway.
I was thinking about something that'd be like improbable. So let's have like improbable outcomes. I'm going first because I thought of it.
Yeah.
Like, what if they do this whole series at the end, then they roll out, it's like, hey, we actually have a high level production company who's coming in and we're going to do a F1 Netflix style series for this race that we're going to fund and spread out to the masses. That would make me more shocked than that would be more shocking than if they were like, hey, we're closing our doors. I would be more shocked
That would
about
surprise me less.
Really? You think that they would have something like that? Like, I think they would close before they would do something like that.
It had NBC doing races for like 4 or 5 years. They could do something like that.
So you're wondering if that would draw enough people in to create some buzz? Like I would change my mind. So
I'm saying
on TV again.
Well, it not for you probably, but it would be for the masses to go like how that Netflix documentary made F1 popular. That thing on the tennis one that they have now. I'm sure more people are going to watch tennis. It's going to be like building storylines around
right
it.
Now.
Is there? So
yeah.
Those things like kind of work if they were that willing to invest in the sport to put together something that is actually attractive, because they haven't done it. Yeah, they were on NBC when they were trying to like pose this as a legitimate sport. Now, like there's chance to show that it's a legitimate sport. They haven't really taken that opportunity to display.
I think it would be more likely than them totally closing shop because it doesn't really cost them anything because Netflix funds these productions. Netflix throws around money. They're playing with monopoly money.
Say it's not Netflix. Say it's just like we're doing it for YouTube or whatever.
Well, that's
Fubo.
Netflix style.
Fun. No, well, then that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But if you have someone who's a production company who's throwing around money like Netflix, that's a realistic thing to have happen.
I would be
Isn't
shocked.
it interesting that they do that already with Spartan Games and they've never given that service to the Elite series ever? Like Spartan Games, sure, of course we're going to create a high production value, and it was great to watch both times, but they've never done that once.
Took like 3 months to come out after though. That's the thing.
Well, whatever, but nonetheless,
yeah.
We need the ultimate fighter for OCR.
Yeah.
That's what we need. A team house where all these people are in, and you have the high level Hunter's one of the coaches, and you have the Atkins as a coach, and you race each week. The 3K.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be a good idea.
Winner takes home all you can eat gone rogue.
Chicken chips, buffalo,
vitamins,
and teriyaki.
Vitamins.
A lot of vitamins.
You know what though? Like if it's about bringing in new eyes, like growing a sport and making this thing actually legit. Like who cares if it's released a year later? It doesn't matter when it gets to them as long as it gets to the new eyes. Us in the sport are the ones who get mad when it's delayed. But like if they were really going to put something together, timeline doesn't matter.
It wouldn't be the coverage of the sport. Like the F1 documentary, like you already can know what happened, right? It's not happening in real time. That's not what's showing us the results, which is a frustration point that I have with this sport is like, just show us what happens, do a good job of, and we talk about that all of the time. But yeah, like how to reach new people, how to build audience, how to like make the people within the sport stars, which they just are like not interested in at all.
They were initially.
They were with NBC. Yes. And it's where they've missed the mark on everything since in terms of making the sport something that people want to cheer for and watch is that their big production value since then, Spartan Ultimate Team Challenge, Spartan Games, Spartan Ultimate Team Challenge 2, Spartan Games 2. Have they produced anything else? Those 4, I think, are the big ones. did not center.
People came out to Joe DeSena's ranch.
That's
Oh,
right.
what about the business?
Yeah.
That's
So
what I'm
let's add
talking
that
about.
one in
Business
there.
boot camp show. Yeah,
It was the
yeah.
most money that was thrown at it. It was the biggest production, and it had the least amount of the stars of our sport. And even though a bunch of them were there, it was confused and muddied. The water was muddied by having other people there.
Right.
So it wasn't about building our sport. It was about building Spartan's brand.
Yeah.
But their brand is the sport. And so they were promoting something that you couldn't then capitalize off of, because the only option for people from watching that as an outlet for their new interest was to go do a race. And if that race didn't hook them, now that audience was lost. Whereas if it were, let's say, the Ultimate Fighter style show where it's only the people in the sport who you can then continue on and watch in the sport, it's reoccurring times for them to stay engaged and then keep them in the ecosystem. They just haven't put money towards actually their core product, because I think they're confused on what their core product is. But it's weird that their high production value shows didn't focus on the only people that they could ever see again.
They didn't invite the athletes that they have on a pro team. They just didn't want to highlight them at all. They were just looking for other eyeballs.
Do you remember when, so you don't, Bracken, but Rich, you found the sport about when I did, I believe 2015, I was made aware, 2016. And it was they shoved Ryan Kent down our throats, you can imagine. And they shoved Robert Killian down our throats, and not Lindsay and Ryan Atkins, because they were with Bone Frog or Battle Frog at the time. So they weren't. And I just gawked at these people on social media and was just I was enamored with these pros who they made look so badass. Amelia Boone, put a poster of her on my wall, man. She was a god. Everybody was put on this pedestal, and people craved to be like them. That does not exist anymore whatsoever. If I stumbled upon it now, I wouldn't even be able to identify one person if I strolled through social media or YouTube and be oh yeah, that person is the face of sport, which we need. Every sport needs that. We don't have that at all.
Who are the stars of Spartan games? Who are the people that people would have been interested in as an outsider watching it?
Grant McCartney,
Hunter, Atkins.
If you had never heard of any of it before and you watched it for the first time, you wouldn't be enamored with Grant because he didn't get any screen time other than
I thought you meant who was
camera.
known beforehand.
No, who became a star on the show? Who popped off the screen?
It was Hunter and Atkins.
Hunter.
Atkins because he was doing so well.
Atkins did well, but was dry. Hunter was dynamic and got beat. But those would probably be the two. So where do you turn to watch them next? You're interested in them. Where Hunter, you'd have to follow his social media or watch him on Hyrox.
Yeah, his own brand.
Atkins, you have to turn into a choppy feed. So there isn't a next option to watch them. And that's where what you're talking about, that Netflix style continuation was, it would get people on it. And then there would be the series to watch, which they claim to be televising in some capacity this year. That would be fantastic. But there's never, ever since NBC stopped, there hasn't been the next step of how to engage with who you've been shown that you should care about. Because that's what TV does. It tells you who you care about and who you dislike, and now tune in next time to watch them. There hasn't been a next time.
100%.
I think it would be very interesting to walk around the venue after a race or after the pro race, give it a few hours. Say you go in at 1 or 2 o'clock. You just have a picture and it's do you know who this is? And just ask the regular people who are literally already there. Do you know who Robert Killian is? Do you know who Lindsay Webster? Can you actually identify them? And if you can't even have your own participants later in the day at the same venue where these people already raced tell you who they are, then you got to change your approach.
You can't be a fan of a sport if you don't have an individual in that sport to be a fan of. So how do you
someone to dislike?
And sure, somebody.
You have to
we have enough people that you could.
We have plenty of
them to be
assholes
the villains.
And
yeah.
People.
And oftentimes it's not even an asshole.
Hey,
it's
Aaron
just
Newell
someone
to show up at the races.
have you guys seen that show Outlast on Netflix? It just came out.
I heard it's good.
There are definitely a couple of people who you do not like, and that kept me watching all 8 episodes of that. And it's you have the rooting interest against that person.
The other thing where they missed the mark is the one unique thing that Spartan has or had was that you could go and run the exact same course as your idols. Well, now we don't even know who our idols are. And if we did, we can't even go out and do the course they're doing anymore. Mm-hmm. So the appeal is gone in both factors. You can't just go run a 3K course. So what are we trying to accomplish there?
Well, you can't run the same course as them 3 times a year. The rest, if they decide to show up, you can. So there still is that.
Well, okay, right.
But you wouldn't know
Whatever,
that
Jack.
if you didn't know
That's
the
true.
sport and you just watched it.
It's Tough Mudder now. What do you guys think of some improbable outcomes?
Hobie Call wins the 3K World Championship.
Don't rule it out. Who's recording Hawk when he's doing ninja stuff? You know,
Yeah.
probably behind the scenes doing work.
Sean Roberts comes in and whoops people.
I don't know if I'd be surprised by that.
I'd be surprised if he came back to Spartan. This has his name written on all over it, though.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want him in that prelim.
No, 1,000 meters, you are not knocking.
You don't want him with a lap to go.
Alvaro is probably gonna be good too, huh?
There are going to be a lot of good people. There's some 150, 152 runners in the Philippines they're going to be good. I'm telling you.
I
Newbie.
don't think any of that matters.
Newbie smash. Yeah, they put a double sand. I bet they don't do a double sandbag carry. They're just gonna have like an old pancake.
Even
Single
without him,
pancake.
in the 3-lap format, the people who scare me the most are the people who are unfazed going into lap 3. The people who would scare me the most in this sport would be, I mean, obviously VJ is going to be one of the best, if not the best, but the scariest people are Atkins and Rylan.
Yeah.
The people who will start lap 3 and destroy themselves and already have more in the tank than you do. That's the type of engine. Yeah. Veerman. That's the scary type. Like someone being faster than you, racing against Rhodesia is not scary. You're just going to lose or you're going to beat him. But like, there's not a fear factor other than the fact that he's so great. It's the people that can, like, it was scary to race against Mo Farah. You can do whatever you wanted to do to him. He'll play your little games and he's going to have more than you left at the end. Like that was the kind of thing that ruined everyone's race. Rhodesia people were just like, whatever, he's our rabbit. We're going to go run and have a great race. We're going to lose either way, but we're going to enjoy losing to Rhodesia. People hated losing to Mo Farah. And that's how I feel like Atkins and Rylan are going to be. Like if VJ wants to go out from the front and just be the best at everything, you probably just won't beat him. But you don't want Atkins and Rylan with 1 lap remaining.
Hanging around. Yeah.
Ugh.
Improbable outcomes. This thing just blows up.
Yeah.
Hollywood. No.
That's what I'm saying.
4 years, we're seeing it in the Olympics.
That it's a great idea.
The Olympics.
The Olympics. That's a good one. That's an improbable. Yeah, definitely. Laser
There it
pistol. People are gonna love the laser pistols. Bracken doing a race and being like, you know what, laser pistols, pretty cool.
I think an
I think
improbable
if
would be
Andrew
Bracken
Jousting
running a
in there,
race.
it'd be in.
There's our improbable.
Nah,
Let's
he's running
not
a race.
confuse my personal enjoyment of this style of race with me thinking it's dumb.
No. I'm just saying you running.
I
a
want to do
race.
laser pistols. It's an option for really good runners to get passed by me. I will take any dumb obstacle on earth if it slows people down and adds a bit of luck and non-running to it. I think it's fantastic. I'll love shooting a laser pistol.
Spoken like a true OCR athlete. It's like,
I think
hey,
it's
let's not have the
stupid.
fitness matter.
Yeah, no, that's spoken as a competitor who wants an edge. I think it's dumb for the sport, but I support it as someone who wants to beat someone who's faster than me. How am I going to beat VJ unless he misses a bunch of pistol shots in a row?
He ain't gonna miss.
Let's hit 10 in a lap instead of 3. Let's have to shoot lefty
VJ's not
10,
missing.
righty 10.
Have it be a tactical course where you're like going back and forth, shooting the laser pistol at targets that pop out.
Let's carry it the whole time.
I want to see Kevin Gelati in the 3K with his shooting. That would be interesting to see.
Good on that.
You think I'd like it? I got firearms. I shoot.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
that's true.
Don't move them.
Do you own handguns?
For me. No, I don't. So it's very different. But
Get some. Get some.
get some handguns. All right, I'll
some
think about
handguns.
it.
Yeah.
All right. Shoe question. Would you rather have one model of shoe of your choice for the rest of your life or have every new model that comes out in a minimal style, 0 drop, under 12 millimeter stack height?
What? So I have to run in every 0 shoe that ever comes out.
Or one that you choose for the rest of time?
You won't know this about me, but I would rather not have options. I've always
What?
been,
Look at your wall.
that's why I said you wouldn't know it. I have always been jealous of people who just set it and forget it.
It's quite a zag.
One shoe to rule them all and they don't have to think about it. Hobie Call used to have the Nike Waffle
Brooks
Racer.
Ghost.
Yeah. Just Pegasus,
trained,
04 Pegasus.
raced everything in his cross-country racers. I was
'cause
jealous of that.
It's because he's old school. He wasn't into the
Give me one shoe.
one shoe.
One shoe.
All
To
right.
train and race in, everything is done in this shoe.
Absolutely. I'm assuming I can handle it and I won't get injured. I'll feel good.
Is
How
this
many
this
zero drop
Wow.
options are there out there? Like, what would we be
decent
getting?
amount?
So some topo,
This is
you
Jack's
know,
world.
zero.
Innovate. You've got
Innovate.
some good trail
Innovate makes
shoes.
zero drop.
Their
Got some
Terra
zero.
Ultra G270 is
Ultras all zero
comparable
drop.
to VJ in terms of their grip. It's
Huh.
fantastic.
And zero drop.
Zero drop.
That shoe has the most polarizing grip I've ever heard about. Half the
It
people
is
say it's VJ
so
like,
good.
and the other half say it's crap.
No, I've worn VJs plenty of times. I just don't like it because it's too narrow.
Just
That shoe
uncomfortable.
has some of the best grip I've ever, maybe the best grip I've ever used in a shoe.
Where have you taken it?
Everywhere.
Not everywhere. You haven't been everywhere, Jack.
That's a good point.
Been a lot of places.
Have you
Yeah.
taken it in slop?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what-
I when I was back in New Hampshire
Okay.
over the winter, it was just that nasty melted recent snow that was just slush everywhere. Yeah, I've plenty of
What
Colorado
VJs
terrain
have you
also.
run in?
Plenty of races.
No,
Yeah.
what shoes?
The extremes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, based on the fact I feel pretty fast in my zero drop ultras that I've worn throughout the past, I'm gonna roll the dice, baby. Bring them.
I'm going zero
I'm gonna
Oh,
go
I'm gonna
zero.
bounce past you.
because there could be.
You're not gonna bounce past me in a pair of Alpha Flies in Jacksonville.
Oh, I'm assuming we get a road shoe and a trail shoe.
I
Or a
don't know.
hybrid shoe. Like, what are we doing? I'm not running Big Bear in the same one that I'm racing Deca in.
You guys are these semantics or things I hadn't even thought about. So
A trail
It's like
A
Hyrox
road.
and their logic. They don't think
and a
about it.
hybrid. One shoe each.
now we're
could do that.
stretching it.
Fine. One trail, one road. Road you got to use one of the two for Hyrox.
It's fine.
I accept that. Absolutely.
See, you're
I'll do that.
you're changing the parameters. You're like, I'll
Have you
pick the
guys-
one shoe if I can have more than one shoe, and that wasn't the question.
Okay. So you intended trail and road at the same time?
You probably just won't run very many trails.
I would probably not run a road ever again.
You're going trail. All
What
right.
shoe would it be? What model would it be? Now you have to decide right now.
Bracken's head's gonna explode.
Yeah,
It's a 70-minute episode on this.
Reebok
He
All
looks
Train
like
Super.
he's in physical pain. Really?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe if they were guaranteed to never change ever, a brand new
Can I guess?
Scott Super Track RC.
That's what I would have guessed.
Otherwise, just give me a speed goat. I'll run road and trail in that.
Yeah.
Go 5 works for both.
All right. You're taking the speed goat.
Nah, Super Track RC2.
All right. I don't know what I would do. I'd probably take the one like super shoe. Just deal with it.
What one super shoe would you take?
Oh, goodness.
Doesn't Ultra have a super shoe zero drop, for example, now?
He said
They-
12 mil or under though.
That did say
Stack.
12 millimeter. That would be stack
Oh.
tire.
Otherwise, that's the workaround.
I have not heard great things about that ultra super shoe, but I don't know. I cannot speak to it. Cannot speak to it. But there could be amazing developments in foam down the line. Actually, I'm going minimal. What if they have like a foam that is even better than Pipa that pops out, and then you can get the same return in like 10 years from a 12 mil stack that I can get from an Alpha Fly right now? I want the new stuff. Give me the minimal.
That's
It'll
so
get there.
low. 12 mil.
You can't get any curvature of your plate in 12 mil. You're not going to get any propulsion. You're going to get bounce, but you don't care. You love the Hyperions.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
All
You
right.
run
most
on your
people,
toenails. There's no roll to your shoe anyway.
Don't matter. Don't
Okay.
even matter.
All right. I've got a question for you guys. Earlier in this episode, I don't remember who was ranting about something, but I think it was Rich doing his Hyrox recap. I went through and I found the participant list for Savage Race Georgia this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Let's pick, and I kind of narrowed down the 5 or so best. Let's pick the podium. Who
Can you
think?
share your screen?
Yeah, I can do that.
Just got to close out some tabs first.
No, I got it. Host disabled, participant screen sharing. I cannot.
Motherfucker.
It's Zoom's
Yeah.
standard setting.
I'll just name them off. So here's the women. I'll do like the three most like or four most likely.
Boom.
So Jamie Horianopoulos, Chris Rogloski, Alex Walker, Rachel Waters.
That's 4. There's no one.
Emily
Share
Stephen
that
Smith,
screen.
Shannon Woodard. You
Share the
got a
screen.
couple others, but the
Does
like
the screen work now? Bracken's like dialed in. He knows all of the races.
Okay, no, I could share it.
He's like that guy. Tony Romo of Savage Race.
Wow.
All right, you guys see it?
Just getting there.
Is Tony Romo getting worse?
Yeah,
He's getting worse.
definitely. John, man. All right. So okay, these are the.
Finland.
There's a name. This is what the participant list is like.
Here are the ones who are signed up. Like Nicole might do it. I thought she was going to do it.
No Sean
And-
Roberts.
No Woods. Not that. So these are like the big names that I noticed.
This is easy. I'll go.
All right.
There's no Briz.
Kempson, Rylan, Sean Roberts.
Even though Roberts isn't on it.
Yep.
No love for Nick Riker.
Disrespectful.
I love Nick Riker, but
All
you don't
right.
give a guy with some dog in him. You don't give him a compliment before a competition.
Good
You
point.
slight him.
Yeah.
Disrespectful. There's no Briz. Where's our noob sanity contingent?
No newbie. Nothing. That's what I saw.
All right. So this is.
I love seeing Penland on there.
Yeah.
That
big
seems out
comeback.
of left field, doesn't it?
And he's listed at
emerges
Fort
in a
Collins still.
Savage.
So I don't know if he's living out here. I thought that he's at like Fort Benning or something. I thought he was over in Georgia or Alabama recently.
I thought
We
he
just
was
saw
in
J,
Bang.
we just saw JW. That was nice. He came out in Chicago Hyrox. Remember BK?
Nice.
Yeah, I got to chat with him for a few hours in
was great.
Chicago.
Man, this list is kind of rough, dudes. This isn't looking that competitive.
This is who's currently registered. I'm sure you're going to see Alvaro and a few all the Noob Sanity people.
You're sure?
And
Oh,
Ambulance.
you know what?
Who?
Yeah, you got to choose Alvaro.
Georgia's not.
He's had this-
In Georgia?
Georgia's
No.
not necessarily flat.
Oh, I thought this was Florida.
No.
We're
Georgia.
in Georgia.
Remember, you were the one who mandated it in our short series.
This is starting the series. We're starting our series. Yeah, Jack, you got to create points
Be
for
held
this.
accountable for
you
my
got-
words.
I'll do
gotta-
it. I'll keep track of people.
Keep track of our series. I mean,
Yeah, keep me with Sean then.
Come.
picking off the. You're
I
going-
think
the old. That's the old KBB pick right there with Sean Roberts. Like, let's just pick somebody who's not even going.
yeah.
Slap Chris
So-
Brown on there.
So we both think it's going to be Kempson or Rylan top two for the
I
guys
don't-
field.
I think Riker. I mean, Ryland. I don't think he's done a Savage.
But he also didn't do OCR Worlds and he got fourth and should have been second.
Yeah, but you know who wasn't there? Nick Riker.
That's
Okay.
right.
That's true.
I mean, there's definitely a learning curve for Savage. You know, I can't wait for that Tootsie Roll, cargo net scenario, twist him up scenario to shake this whole series up. People are going to be talking about that. Yeah, like, damn, that shit was fire. That duck walk with the blocks,
Oh yeah.
it was crazy. I'm going to try that.
Better been practicing. Yeah. I think you got to give Kempson because of his experience doing the Savage series in the past and having success in it. And this is one of those nasty East Coast style races. I think that's going to help him. Rylan, I got him second and probably Riker third. Although I do think that Kevin Thompson is actually pretty legit on this type of stuff.
Would you rather, for an obstacle, have to do that duck walk thing or a laser pistol?
Laser
Pistol. That duck walk thing is so silly. I
What
would
would
I'd
you
rather
like
rather
to
do?
shoot the laser pistol while wearing those.
while walking on the blocks.
Yep.
That seems reasonable.
how-
I don't like that twisty cargo net situation. I would do any obstacle besides that.
Bracken, here's a better one. Would you rather do 100 meters of pipe layer, not 400, just 100, or 100 meters of teeter tuber?
Peter Tuber, I figured it out.
No way.
But
Like
your first
six-
race, you're not going to finish it.
Successive teeter tubers or 100 or one massive
all right.
teeter tuber. That would be so tall. You get really hurt. You would definitely get hurt.
Well,
sliding
yeah,
down
we need
there.
clarification. I thought
What are
these
we
were
talking
end to
about?
end for 100 meters.
Standard size, multiple until you reach 100 meters.
Oh, okay. Not one big.
Yeah,
no,
give me
no,
that.
no.
You're not taking.
I
a
mean, you said
50-meter
you wanted to
fall.
slide, Rich, so just trying to help you out.
I had first slide into the ground.
Give me that.
500-foot tube. Yeah. Give you what?
Give me the teeter tuber for 100 meters.
you're sick.
Then the duck walk?
No, 100 meters of pipe layer. I'm going pipe layer all day.
Pipe layer.
I've seen the Tootsie Roll, but I haven't seen the duck walk. What is it?
Oh, it's a spectacle, dude.
Do you want to bail on OCR?
There's
for
nothing
good?
better
Look
than
up that.
feeling stupid while working really hard. It's the perfect.
That's the
It's
BK, you want
perfect
to describe this
combination.
<laughs>
thing?
No, can we screen share and just show it?
Yeah, I'll stop sharing.
You got to give it. That's the only way to do it justice, is to see that type of athleticism needed for this.
Real quick on the men's side, I mean, got to go Kempson, got to go Ryland, I guess, and going Riker. I wouldn't be surprised if Riker gets second. I'm hedging the old BK pick right there. And then on the women's side is going to be Jamie Hornopoulos hasn't lost a Savage in like a decade. She is
really
like
good.
she has like 10 in a row, but I don't know what kind of running fitness she's going to have for someone like Chris or
And
Alex.
And Rachel Waters just
Rachel
got
Waters is
2
good, but-
podiums in Atlanta.
Jamie, Rachel, and Alex. I think Chris is the odd woman out.
Chris won't make it.
Just
Yeah,
because of
she'll
your
get-
personal beef.
Oh yeah,
And we've
you'll
seen
be
this
waiting
from
at the
her
start
before.
line to get knocked out. Or the
She won
finish
this-
line.
She
Did
won
she
this year's
struggle in
last year.
Florida last year?
Well, only because
She
Ida
won the
was
series.
there. Ida was in Florida and came in.
Ida
Yeah.
spanked her.
She did. That's true.
Is Ida in this field?
I think
don't
Chris is
so.
washed.
That's
Honestly, I think she's burned it too bright and she burned out fast. I think she's washed.
most improbable outcome. The answer.
This
But
Hyrox was the last successful race she'll ever have.
timestamp this.
ever. All right, I'm gonna go
A social media breakout.
I think Chris is gonna win. Alex second, Jamie third.
I would love to see if Jamie take a W here because she's so committed to this style of
Yeah.
racing. But they have watered down obstacles.
I was
with
gonna
the
say
series.
it depends on if they're gonna have a 10-foot Lachey at the end. You know, some of the
Yeah.
stuff where people just get hung up there for 5-10 tries. Like
I think she generally does beat Rachel Waters in this. Like, I don't
didn't Nick Riker DNF at one of those? If I'm not
think-
mistaken.
it wasn't a Lachey. It was like some long.
Yeah, I thought he tried once and then he just quit.
Yeah, and then he got a pump,
Yeah, his arms hurt.
Popped his rib out.
popped his rib out,
Can't be having that.
had to
His hair
poop.
got in his eyes.
Had to poop. What do you find it, Jack?
No, I wasn't looking it up. You were. You said
I'm looking it up.
But yeah, you mentioned it. That's why I stopped screen sharing because you're like, I'm gonna pull up the duck walk thing.
I
did
could
not see
probably
this.
envision it.
No,
I
you,
got
you can't. There's no way you can create this amount of
Tell-
stupidity in your mind.
Tell us what you think it looks like.
Yeah, describe it.
I have no idea. Somebody straps blocks to your feet, and then you have to chomp through a area.
Not
till you
terrible. Not
Complete.
Yeah, it's not bad.
terribly
Reasonable.
off.
But it's only because we said blocks. I don't think you would have got that.
Well, of course not.
He's
But
talking-
blocks were a giveaway.
You can't challenge someone to guess something, and then when they guess, they'd be like, "Well, that's only because." You did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
come
seriously.
on now.
The coolest
Unlike
thing
what
about
Chris
it,
will do this weekend.
greatest thing about Instagram is that it's not searchable. Can't find it once it's gone. So basically, what it is, you get 4 blocks.
I think the size of a brick, roughly.
Yes. Do you get 4?
Yep.
And like you have to be standing on a block, and then you have to reach behind you and move the block in front of you
Oh, God.
and walk
You're in
from
like a
block to
catcher's
block.
stance.
Yeah, I get it.
You don't
yeah.
have to be. You could be just like long armed.
You could do cartwheels across them if you threw them out in front of you in a line.
You got to stay on
Get
the
done
block
real quick.
Bold strategy.
Yeah.
How far?
Hands.
How far is it? How far do you
100
have to
meters.
travel?
400, same as pipe layer. I don't know how long it is. Do you know?
And is
Jack?
it on clean terrain? Are you going through like what terrain are we
I
doing?
think it's on grass. I think it
They
could
should
be
do it
gnarly.
downhill or
But if you
uphill,
if you
know.
fall off, you don't have to restart. You just have to like set the blocks back up.
Really? Oh, that's dumb.
I'd be fiddling with that like crazy. Be like looking around. No one got me.
Mhm.
Keeping it moving.
I think it should lead to an obstacle, and that's how you mount the obstacle
You have to bring all 4 blocks with you
all the way through.
with the obstacle.
Down that slide.
Yeah, there's gonna be a
Maybe
slide.
they could use
Can't
they
wait.
could use the blocks for their next heavy carry afterwards because it's about the same weight.
You got to carry all 4 in your hands. You can't carry them anywhere else. Just like
Pinch
big-
grip.
big
Yeah.
pinch grip hands.
They should just have 2 of those logs, and you have to pinch grip them.
If somebody has that dialed right, they've been practicing. There could be like a 30+ second difference swing in time on
Yeah.
something like that.
It would be
So how
easy to
would-
practice, but I would just be like, I cannot
I'd
believe
be
how much
embarrassed,
time
too.
I'm wasting. The most time I've ever wasted in my entire life doing this. I could be doing anything else. I would definitely not practice.
Cheaper to practice than a laser pistol, though.
True.
True. Yeah, I bet Kempson's practicing.
Yeah.
So we got Savage, Georgia, the first race kicking off of the season, really of the whole OCR season on the competitive side of things. It's kind of like
Well, they had the
real-
age group series, but yeah.
They did have
We're
the age
talking
group series. We're
elite,
talking
yeah.
about elite, yes.
Ryland's going to win, by the way. I didn't give my prediction, but he's going to wax the floor with everybody.
It'll be very close with him.
Kempson's been spending too much time on skis, and Ryland is putting out these videos making him seem like he's training specifically like a boss. He's doing the most specific training he's ever done for racing. He's not just screwing around in the mountains like he always does as much. He's like in it. And I think he's going to be even next level Ryland this year. Ryland's going to wipe the floor with everybody. Just saying.
We'll see.
Ryland's going to be, he is, I think at this point, the most versatile athlete in the sport, even over Atkins. Because he tries everything.
Yeah, that's interesting. That Atkins might have that claim if he did it.
I don't know. Ryland, like, do you think Atkins would have been toe-to-toe with Kent and Rich? Like,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ryland, he's just something else. What we will find out is he the type of person that gets better when he specializes, or does he need those big, fun adventures to keep him who he is? I'm not saying one way or the other. We just get to find that out.
We gonna
He'll
see.
be deadly this year and everything.
And everything.
Everything.
I'm taking the under on that. I'm taking the field on and of everything.
Is he going to do another Hyrox? Is he going to do Anaheim?
No, I don't think so. I think he's good on that, especially if they're not paying out like on regional races. But I don't know. And now that these other races are kicking up, I know he's doing DECA in NorCal. Jack Bauer's gonna
I'll be there.
throw him in a headlock.
Yep.
Give him
What was his
work.
debut time in Hyrox?
64, 63.
It was 60. He crossed in like 61.20 or something like that, but got a minute penalty. So he's like 62 mid. And then he was like 64 on a second one.
What was his penalty for?
He went in the out.
Oh, so
out
he
the,
didn't.
Or out the end.
cheat.
No. And then the
He didn't
second
gain
one.
time.
No, it was a stupid penalty.
So he had a 61 debut. Is that one of the better debuts of the last 2 years in the US?
Yeah, I think so.
In the
Probably
US for sure.
the best in the US.
Wow.
Hunter maybe was faster than that, but other than that, I can't think of any.
Yeah.
And that was a tough course.
Yeah, he would be really good at it. I mean, he's kind of like an ass, or he hasn't really nailed the race. He's really just kind of suffered to the finish of it, which is easy to do in Hyrox. So if he spent a couple more races like trying to figure it out, he'd be really, really good.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna watch Georgia, right? Everybody's watching.
Of course.
I don't know.
On
I'll
tape
be in
delay.
Sweden. I'm not
That's
announcing.
True. That's true. All right. Well, this is our farewell to BK. We'll see you in 2 to 3 weeks.
April.
See you in April.
I come back on a Tuesday, so I won't be recording.
Rich and I got back after
On
like
Tuesday.
27 hours of travel. We recorded that next day.
On a Tuesday night.
That won't work.
Unlikely to happen.
So maybe we'll have somebody fill in, maybe not. But anything else? We good?
Just
What's up?
don't get Chris as the fill-in.
Okay, deal.
Don't
all I
do
do.
this, Chris.
At least for 1 week. Running Public, the greatest podcast that's ever been released. Check out the Friday episode. Tuesday, you guys talk about
Everything.
all the stuff.
Everything.
Every training.
Yeah, we
every
spitball.
training
It was good.
modality.
No, none of that. All
No
personal and hot takes. And it was great.
Do you still have the Training Tuesday like thing when it's not necessarily about training? Is it still like the Tuesday, like that whole deal, or is it okay?
Yeah, it
We
says
talk about
one
our own
topic
personal-
and one thing only, one deep dive, and then we talk about everything other than that.
Good. You guys keeping everybody guessing.
We actually talk about our own personal passions and plans, like racing
Oh, I saw your teaser post.
plans for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me to know what you're doing, I have to listen to this podcast now.
No,
You have a
maybe I'll probably come out
transcript?
with something.
Oh,
It'll
okay.
clarify what
Podcast-
Kirk's doing, not
Podcast
me.
comes first.
I think Kirk,
Oh no, you clarify.
Kirk, I have not listened, but you said my plans are, almost concrete. I was thinking, is that a hint that it's going to be on the roads? So are you running a marathon?
Oh, wordplay.
That was my little.
Or he's
You're gonna
getting a
have to-
concrete mixer.
I have a
Yeah.
whole new angle I'm looking at this year after May 17th, and maybe you can put that puzzle piece together for that.
Masters marathon record for Wisconsin.
I'm just waiting for Father Time to take hold officially turn the calendar page, and
8
then
more
I'm
weeks, that's all you
chasing
need.
master shit is what I'm doing. And I'm not lying. That is going to be
Dang.
what happens.
You're looking forward to crossing the line. Good for you.
How old are you,
You got
Rich?
it.
37.
37. You're one older than me. Jack, what are you, like 33?
33. Yeah.
Young
Freaking
gun.
Spring
summertime.
chicken.
Young
You
gun.
look exactly your age.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's,
Yeah, you
I'll
just
take
look
it.
33 to me.
that's an appropriate thing to say.
Yeah. What do you think the rest of us look like, Bracken? Since you say I
Kirk
look
looks
30.
younger than 40.
Weathered. Beat down.
Couple of opposites right
I'm
there.
hurting.
And Jack, you have a youthful cherub-like appearance. I guess you could say younger.
I'm the only one in the Race Brain logo who doesn't have wrinkles, so I guess.
And looking at you don't have any either for real.
No.
So I don't know.
'Cause he doesn't-
It's
he doesn't-
that sunscreen.
He doesn't
you
go
guys
in the
make fun of
sun.
me.
He doesn't go
Yep.
into the sunlight. What's he?
Look at that.
He
That
wears, sun-
SPF 70 is helping me all these years.
he wears like snow goggles outside. He can't get his eyes like even
Yeah.
close to hurt.
I don't even know what lightness is actually. This is a filter on my screen.
Yeah. All right. I'm actually just gonna press stop on this and not end.
We're gonna
record,
end
but
immediately,
stop.
by the way.
Nope.